Canadians that started the season. Bob Vespasiani feels his receivers are a quality group. The quarterbacks just aren't getting the ball there consistently enough. Running back Gary Allen still looking for that big game and still looking to regain his all-Canadian form, starting at quarterback Rick Johnson. Ottawa Roughriders have Nick Benjamin back on their offensive line. That'll help. Fred Glick hopes this will be the day wide receiver James Hood gives Ottawa the explosiveness he possesses. We expect to see a lot of Cedric Mitter, and Todd Dillon will start at quarterback. And we're just about set to go at Lansdowne Park in Ottawa. The Roughriders with a 2-3 record, and the Calgary Stampeders at 1-6 on a 6-game losing streak. Bob Vespasiani, their head coach, looking for Rick Johnson to regain his form from last season. That's one thing that would certainly help. And Fred Glick, Neil Lumsden wants more out of his offense today.
Well, they're both looking to their quarterbacks. Glick said before the game that Dillon was kind of wasn't comfortable the last time he played against the BC Lions. Had two offensive linemen that weren't normally there, were out. He's got to settle down. He's got to be comfortable with the guys protecting him.
Dillon's confidence has been shaken just a little bit, according to Fred Glick, and playing against the BC Lions, as Ottawa did 2 weeks ago, can have that effect. Calgary, despite their 1-6 record, could move into third place if they win today, a point ahead of Saskatchewan in the West. Dean Dorsey kicks it off, and we are underway at Lansdowne Park. Ronald Hopkins with it at the 25 to the 30, and he's hit at the 35-yard line. Woodson leading the Ottawa tacklers downfield and giving Ottawa a good start with good kick coverage.
Anthony Woodson gets himself and probably the defense into the game quickly with that big hit on the return.
Rick Johnson will start. Rick Warman was in the plans to start this game, but he has bruised ribs, and Bob Vespasiani doesn't think he's quite 100%, so Johnson gets the call. Stamps start at their 35. Johnson has thrown 10 interceptions, only 3 touchdown passes. And those numbers are part of the reason why the Stamps are 1-6. Here's the toss to Gary Allen, and he is stopped by Woodson at the 35-yard line for no gain. It's a cloudy day in Ottawa. Cloudy and, well, relatively cool, I guess, at 22 degrees Celsius. Comfortable, though. There is a forecast for showers. It's dry right now, and a very light wind.
It's actually a perfect day for football. The big players, the linemen, don't get overheated, and everyone can still stay warm once they get moving.
Stamp 2nd and 10. Lloyd Lewis looked like he jumped offside. Johnson throws complete to Wheeler. He's down at the 41-yard line. Calvin Lovell came up to make the tackle, but there was a penalty flag.
Procedure, Calgary 68.
Kerry Yelarenko drew Lloyd Lewis offside. The penalty against the Stampeders will likely be declined by the Ottawa Roughriders, and they will force Calgary into a punting situation on 3rd down and 3.
The silly mistakes still hound the Stampeders and early in the game. No real reason to go offside like that or to move early.
We will once again time these punts from the time the ball is snapped until the time it lands in the arms of the receiver. And coaches tell us anything over 6 seconds in that area is considered good. Glenn Harper's first kick of the game is not a good one. It bounces at the 40. Will Lewis with it at the 37, and he is stopped right there. Now with the bounce, the time turned out pretty well, but Harper did not hit one of his really good kicks.
Well, the important thing about the hang time, and they look for about 4 seconds, is that it allows the team to go down and cover. A driving punt that will oftentimes can force a returner to backpedal can be a good kick, but it can work out against you because now the returner has a chance to run to the wall or get a good return because there's a good space in there.
Bruno Jeremiah handled that punt by Glenn Harper. Ottawa Roughriders with the football for the first time. Todd Dillon, their quarterback, starts from his 37-yard line, and he hands off to Cedric Mitter, who was hit immediately and then is pulled down. Quincy Williams got through to make the first contact. Jeffers and Sandy Armstrong playing his first game with the Stamps, helping out.
The Stamps on defense have been pretty good despite their record. The Ottawa Roughriders feel they can run some plays against them and get up the seam in between those 4 down linemen. That's what Fred Glick is looking to do today.
Second down and 10 yards to go. The Ottawa Rough Riders no gain on that first play. They're at their 37-yard line. Dillon back to pass. Flags down. Dillon gets the ball off, but with the pressure, nowhere near the intended receiver, James Hood. But there are penalty flags on the play. You know, it's interesting. Calgary, you say, Neil, better defensively than their record would indicate. They've given up 248 yards, an average of 248.
Offside, Calgary 32.
Offside against the Stampeders. Calgary's given up an average of 248 passing yards per game, which is the second lowest total in the Canadian Football League. You wouldn't think that of a team 1-6.
No, you wouldn't. And they have been on the field an awful lot because of the turnovers. They've had 42 turnovers this year after 7 games. You'd think that that total would be higher.
Well, in that takeaway giveaway category, the Stampeders record is -21, and that's just a horrible average in that statistics. And the Ottawa Rough Riders will have second down over after the offside penalty against Calgary, and Dillon finds a receiver open up at the 54, but he couldn't hang on to the ball. James Hood diving back for it, but it hit the turf, and Ottawa will have to punt.
Well, asking Glick whether Hood has come through like he thought he would, being the exciting receiver, he said yes and no. He hasn't made some catches we thought, but the problem to this point is he's not reading the defenses. He's not adjusting to the defensive backs, not coming open, which is tough on the quarterback. That's
one he very clearly should have had. Ken Clark's first punt of the game bounces to Gary Allen at the Calgary 24. And he's down at about the 27 or 28-yard line. No score, and we are very early here at Lansdowne Park in Ottawa. Stampeders wearing the headsets for the first time this season. He has also brought one of his spotters, Larry Koharic, down from the spotter's booth, and he is on the sideline. So the Stampeders trying to get things turned around by making a few changes. Gary Allen trying to go wide on a first down run, and the Ottawa Rough Riders were there to stop him for no gain, maybe a small loss.
Well, we've seen tremendous pursuit by the Riders, especially that linebacking core. And when you want to go outside like Allen is here in a sweep, you have to rely on those linebackers. Defensive linemen stretch it out. The linebackers pursue.
We are 3 minutes into the first quarter. There's no score. The Calgary Stampeders will break the huddle and look at a second down and 10 from their 28-yard line. Gary Allen having a decent year, but not as outstanding as last year. That applies to many Calgary players. Rick Johnson throwing over the middle, no good at the 50-yard line, intended for Tony Woodruff.
Good pattern run by Woodruff. Johnson had the ball on the mark. It almost seemed like Rod Brown got his hand just inside as the ball arrived and knocked it away.
I thought Johnson threw that football very well. They've been telling us, Neil, that his arm is getting stronger and stronger day by day, and I thought he threw that one well.
Well, after last week, especially the last quarter against Toronto, he looks more confident at quarterback, and as you said, the arm looks like it's a little bit better.
Glenn Harper throwing on a fake. Marshall Toner with the football, and he's to the 52-yard line of the Calgary Stampeders with a first down. Ottawa think they've recovered a fumble, but the officials have whistled it dead. So the Calgary Stampeders pull a fake, and it worked perfectly.
Well, Harper can throw the football, and this is something that's called on the sidelines. And when they come up to the line of scrimmage, they'll see it. Now he'll look up. He won't call it off. If it's not there, he'll punt the football, and it's wide open. Toner gets down the field. No one's even around him.
Oh, that looked so easy, didn't it? Huh? That's what, when you're the punter, you want to see that guy all alone like that, so there's no doubt at all. And that's what Glenn Harper saw. So the Stampeders have first and 10 at their own 51. Rick Johnson wants to put it up. Here comes a rush. Johnson looking around for a receiver. Finds one down at the 45-yard line. Larry Willis to the 35 and out of bounds at the Ottawa 32-yard line. The 30th catch of the year for Larry Willis.
It's funny, as we watch Rick Johnson, we look for signs that we saw last year throughout the 86 schedule. And this is what we used to see. Rick Johnson gets a good look at the defense, but doesn't throw it away, doesn't see what he wants. He moves out of the pocket, and Willis comes back and gives him a target, someone to throw it to.
Larry Willis has gone over 500 yards in receiving yardage this season. And the Stampeders have gone to the Ottawa 32-yard line with a first and 10 in a scoreless game. About 5 minutes into the first quarter, Tim Petros with a big hole on the fake toss, and he has 10, 11 yards.
Well, I mentioned when you have a defense like the Riders that can pursue so well, you have to take advantage of that, and they are running a fake sweep where the Johnson swings around, reverses out, makes like he's going to pitch the ball, and just slides it into Petros, and he reads the defense.
Rick Warman talking with Larry Kuharek, the offensive assistant coach who has come down from the spotter's box, and head coach Bob Vespasiani, as they measure to see whether or not Petros got the first down, and he didn't quite get there. With the football at the Ottawa 22. Jacques Decarry, the referee today.
Well, this is a gamble situation. I like it when I see a coach call a fake or a pass on this, because everyone's usually snugged up to the line. They only have an inch to go for a first down, so they could probably get it on a sneak if they miss this play, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Johnson throw it.
Let's see what Rick Johnson does. Will he play it safe and run? That's what he'll do, giving it to Petros across the 20 and into the 19. But you will often see teams in that situation try to go for it all. I don't remember the last time I saw a third and less than a yard missed.
No, and the surge of the offensive line. Again, it's a battle between the front seven and the front seven on defense, and it's really won by who gets down and powers with the, it's really all physical. It's a strength factor right there.
Center Bob Poley is making only his 4th start of the season. He broke a bone in his left arm down in the wrist area, and he's still wearing a cast on it. Johnson directing traffic on 1st and 10. Calgary at the Ottawa 20-yard line. Johnson has some time, puts it in the end zone, and Tolbert can't hang on. Emmanuel Tolbert juggled it around, but couldn't bring it home.
The ball was thrown awfully well. Rick Johnson again showing signs of throwing that football an awful lot better than he did when he started the season. Back straight out, so he gets a good look at the defense. Lets the ball go, has Tolbert going to the corner of the end zone and just off the fingertips.
Very early in this game, Johnson has had pretty good pass protection, and he is throwing the ball with authority. The way we saw him throw it last year, when he passed for over 4,000 yards and 31 touchdowns. 2nd and 10, Stampeders. Johnson over the middle. Wheeler has it down to the 2-yard line. Big run, Wheeler, dropped by Calvin Lovell, but there was a flag on the play. No part, neither was it. They're down at the 2-yard line.
Well, Johnson approached the line of scrimmage there like an old quarterback I watched a bit. Tom Wilkinson, that head bob. Changing up the snap count, keeping the defense on their heels, not giving them a break. And he hits Wheeler, who didn't catch a pass last week against Toronto.
I thought I saw a flag, and there was. Ottawa was offside, declined in Calgary with that catch by Ron Wheeler. Great big slot back at 6'5", 230. Stampeders. 1st and goal at the 2-yard line of Ottawa in a scoreless game. Tolbert in motion, and the handoff to Petros, and he was popped just as he got the football by Dozier, Cornelius Dozier, the newcomer playing his first game in the CFL.
Well, he's playing that outside linebacking spot. He's 6'1", 206, not big for a linebacker, but I'll tell you, he gets Petros right in the numbers and puts him on his back.
How did he get there that fast?
Having watched film and know what the short yardage plays are, and just maybe being a little lucky.
Well, as you say, he's small. Fred Glick said he can't believe the way this guy can run. We saw some evidence of it there. 2nd and goal. Johnson throws. Touchdown. Ron Wheeler, the tight end, hauling it in. A very simple pass play, and Johnson right on the money.
That's a pretty good mismatch. Calvin Lovell's trying to cover 6'5", 230-pound Wheeler, and Lovell's only 5'9", and if he can get in between the quarterback and the defensive back, and Johnson can string it in there like he did, that's a touchdown.
Rick Johnson with only his 4th touchdown pass of the season, and that's Wheeler's 1st touchdown in the Canadian Football League. J.T. Hay will attempt to add the convert, and he does. And the Calgary Stampeders, trying to break that 6-game losing streak, have jumped out in front at Lansdowne Park. Calgary Stampeders wanted more communication today, and at their bench after that touchdown, there's lots of communication going on between 2 of the assistant coaches and the players. Rick Johnson, a 2-yard touchdown pass, 3-yard touchdown pass to Ron Wheeler at 6:15 of this first quarter, and here's J.T. Hay's kickoff. That touchdown set up by the fake punt by Harper and the pass to Marshall Toner. Gerald Alpin brings the kickoff back across the 40 to the 41-yard line. In our last game on the the Canadian Football Network. Friday night in Toronto, Ken Joyner was our Canada Leafs most valuable player. He caught a touchdown pass, the winning touchdown pass from Gilbert Renfro as Toronto beat Edmonton 23-20. Ken Joyner, our Canada Leafs MVP, Friday night in Toronto. Where Lansdowne Park in Ottawa, the Rough Riders trailing 7-0, first and 10 from their 40. Dillon throws complete to James Hood at the 45. Down at the 46-yard line, Daryl Toussaint made the tackle.
Daryl Toussaint back in the defensive secondary. A second week, Larry Hogue has been out. Asked Vespasiani, did he like what Toussaint did for him last week? He said, well, he didn't hurt us, but he didn't do anything spectacular. We're going to give him one more shot because we feel he can be a spectacular type of defensive back.
Fourth year in the CFL for Toussaint. Second down and 5, Ottawa from the 45.5. Dillon rolling right, he throws, and it's no good. Down at the 50-yard line. Intended for Gerald Alphen. And Ottawa will have to punt again.
Well, Toussaint is a good man-to-man cover. He's got good speed, comes off the ball well, and he moves his feet. And he has to be able to move your feet on when you're covering a receiver. A little bit of a stumble there, but closes well. Catchable ball, still good coverage.
That's 2 passes Dillon has had dropped. Ken Clark to punt. And he gets a short kick away that's grabbed on the run by Richie Hall at the 36-yard line. 5.4 the coverage time from the snap of the ball till it was caught by Richie Hall. And that is not very good. Again, the coaches look for 6 to 6.5. Anything better than that is outstanding. Kenny Clark's average this year, 42.6, is 3.5 below his career average.
Well, this is his 14th season in professional football. He's spent some time in Portland with the USFL and, of course, LA in the NFL. And he's a very good kicker, but he's also very competent into the wind. Very consistent on his drop, and you can see when he runs out the field, he's not happy with that last punt.
Did you know Ken Clark was born in England? I just thought I'd throw that in there. First and 10, Stamps. They're leading 7-0 at their 38-yard line. Johnson throws over the middle, and Wheeler can't hang on up near center field. Ron Wheeler drops a catchable ball as Rick Johnson continues to show good form in this opening quarter.
Well, Lloyd Lewis putting pressure on Johnson, but he didn't get nervous feet. He goes outside, sets back in the pocket, and waits for his receiver to come open.
Rocco Romano is playing right guard for Calgary, a rookie. Started the season at left tackle. We're going to watch him with our cameras on this play and then come back and show you what he did. Second down and 10. Stamps at their 38. There's the toss right side. Gary Allen to the 40, out to the 42-yard line. Brought down from behind by linebacker Cornelius Dozier. Gain of about 4 yards on the play.
He said Romano started at left tackle. Now in that spot is Rob Smith. Romano at guard, pulls out on the sweep. He's just ready to roll around. There's no one to hit, and then he looks back and wonders why Allen goes inside. If you'd followed me, you would have gone all the way.
Rocco Romano, a rookie from Concordia, first-round draft pick of the Stampeders this year. Third down and 5. Calgary at the Stamp 43. Glenn Harper, low snap. He gets it up, and is he going to get away? No, he doesn't. He's down by Calvin Lovell at the 35-yard line. A bad snap, and by the time Harper had picked it up, there was no point trying to kick it because of the rush, and then he couldn't get away from Calvin Lovell.
Well, the defense will always send 2 people, and they say make sure they kick the ball before you turn around and go back downfield. And Lovell does exactly that. He takes a hit from McVeigh, but sees there's problems on the snap and just corrals Harper to the ground.
And Ottawa did not have a big rush that time on Harper. They had set up a return, but those 2 outside men were enough. So Calgary turns the ball over to Ottawa at the Stampeder 35. And this is something the Stampeders have been plagued with all season long. Minter on a first down carry has 5 to the 30 of the Stamps. To tell you that the scoreboard clock here at Lansdowne Park is not working, and as a result the quarterbacks don't have that 20-second clock that they rely on so much. Neil, 5:33 left, first quarter. We of course are getting updates. You'll know. There's a pass complete to Erdman down at the 4-yard line. Jerome Erdman. Dillon didn't need the 20-second clock that time, did he?
No, he just needed the right play to call, and he got it. Erdman had an opportunity to go up the seam, not be harassed, and Dillon sees it right from the snap. He wants to throw it a little bit early, pulls it back down, and lets him come open again.
And the clock isn't working because of electrical problems beyond the Ottawa Rough Riders' control. They think the sign was, or the scoreboard was hit by lightning a couple of days ago, and they just can't get it going. First and goal, Ottawa. Calgary 3-yard line. Dillon throws wide open. Touchdown. Larry Moore. Backup running back. And we're a Dorsey convert away from a tie game.
Ottawa gives you that strong formation with Moore and Reed leading. It's a fake handoff. The defensive man will often squat down and expect to be hit by Moore. Moore slides right by him, and Dillon just pops it over the defender's head.
Larry Moore from Queen's University, picked up in the dispersal draft of Montreal Alouette players, as his first touchdown of the season. And Dean Dorsey as his first convert of the game, and it gives the Ottawa Rough Riders a 7-7 tie with the Calgary Stampeders. Dorsey, of course, will go after Don Sweet's record for consecutive field goals of 21. Dorsey has 20 coming into this game. Well, he'll go after it if he gets a chance to kick a field goal.
Take a look at Larry Moore, who started his career in Edmonton, but Edmonton had so many outstanding Canadian running backs, they felt that they could put him up in that dispersal draft. Traded him to Montreal, as I said, and then the dispersal draft brought him here.
He was the most outstanding player in Canadian college football in 1985. Todd Dillon, happy about that score. Gets down on himself very easily. Fred Glick told us he takes the weight of the world on his shoulders when things don't go well.
Yes, he doesn't point fingers. When an offensive drive is stopped, he'll come off if he's done something wrong, and that can be a problem, as Glick said today. But it's he almost has to be a cheerleader on the sidelines and keep building his confidence.
10:13 was the time of Moore's touchdown. 7-7. Dorsey with a short kickoff, and it's grabbed at the 45-yard line and fumbled by Tucson, who has it at the 41. Ottawa Rough Riders have recovered. Dozier with the ball.
Well, just a great hit after Tucson caught it, popped the ball loose, and that play's not, that's kind of an in-between a short kickoff and kicking it deep. Because the ball's live on the kickoff, they see an open area, they can just pop it in there, and somebody goes and gets it.
I guess we should call that a placement kickoff more than a short kickoff, but they were attempting to maybe run down and recover it, hit an open area where there were no Stampeders. Didn't work exactly that way, but it certainly worked in Ottawa's favor with the fumble. First down pass to Cedric Minter is well defensed by the Calgary Stampeders and will lose a couple of yards. David McCrary, the rookie cornerback, has 2 interceptions for Calgary this season.
Fred Glick had said before the game that they hadn't used their running backs, Jim Reed and Cedric Minter, enough in the passing game. They want to start to use them downfield, get some first downs. He said Jim Reed will catch the ball and fall for 4 or 5, and Cedric Minter can break them, so they might as well use them.
The ball at the Calgary 43, 2nd and 12. Dillon nearly has it knocked out of his hand, and now he is surrounded by Matt Finley and other Calgary Stampeders, and he'll be sacked back at the 46-yard line. Now, do you send Dorsey out to kick a 53-yard field goal with a slight wind behind him, or do you punt? You punt. We talked to Fred Glick at length about whether or not he would take Dorsey's field goal streak into account when deciding whether to send him out for a long field goal, and he said not really. If he thought Dorsey had a chance of making it, he would send him out there. This is Ken Clark's punt. Gary Allen with it at the 15 and up across the 20 to the 21-yard line. 5.3, not very good hang time for the Ottawa Rough Riders. The kick coverage time on that last Ken Clark punt was 5.3 seconds. As I said, that's not very good. As Clark and Dean Dorsey were commiserating, they spent a lot of time together. Dorsey becomes very upset at the possibility that Clark might not be his holder, and that possibility was raised during training camp. Rick Johnson's first down pass intended for Willis, incomplete, but once again, Neil Johnson had a lot of zip on the football.
He had a lot of time too, and he's dropping back and looking at the defense, and he must see something, because that's about the 5th time he's gone into that secondary in the middle area. Twice to Wheeler, once his drop, and that time again wide open, just couldn't make the catch.
2nd and 10. Calgary at their 21-yard line. Ottawa's front three of Klein, Lewis, and Bourgeau. And again, Johnson has time, but he threw a little bit behind Ron Wheeler, who couldn't catch it at the 25-yard line. Bob Vespasiani sends out his punt team, big 28-year-old Ron Wheeler.
Well, he gets an opportunity to play that tight end spot with his size and a good receiver. And sometimes you can throw a defense off when you line up along the offensive line, look like you're going to block. The defense then drops back into their drops or man, and you can sneak out. It can be a very effective weapon.
3 minutes left in the opening quarter, 7-7. Kick coverage time. Let's see how Glenn Harper does on the 3rd down punt. Oh, he gets a good kick away. Mark Lewis at the Ottawa 41. That's good coverage time. Lewis goes back to his 35 and is brought down. Good coverage work by the Calgary Stampeders and Matt Finley, the linebacker. Oh, no, that worked beautifully for the Calgary Stampeders.
Oh, it certainly did. A hang time of 4.7, and Lewis wants to get to the outside, and he's just run down by Finley.
Ottawa Rough Riders and Calgary Stampeders, 7-7 at Lansdowne Park. Ottawa 1st and 10 at their own 35-yard line. Dillon, shovel pass, Minter, and he's going to lose a couple of yards on the play. There is a flag, and it was thrown about 15 yards downfield. Jacques DeCarrier, the head referee, talking with Bernie Morrison, the defensive captain.
Illegal contact against receiver, Calgary 37.
Matt Finley, the linebacker, is called for illegal contact.
Well, the linebacker wants to get a piece of that receiver. Don't let him get downfield without harassing him a little bit. I guess they call that interference. Looks like Jim Reed's on his way out to throw a block on somebody.
Now there's a lot of that contact that goes on as receivers come off the line. But Finley got his hands out and made it a little bit obvious, and they called him. 10-yard advancement, Ottawa 1st and 10 at their 45-yard line. Dillon throwing quickly. Mark Lewis is open at the 51. He's to center field. He fumbles the ball and gets back on it at the 55-yard line. Mark Lewis, somewhat fortunate. He was the only Ottawa player in the area.
We're seeing a new look, or a bit of a new look on offense for Ottawa. They're sprinting out a bit. Dillon goes to his left. He's got 2 excellent blockers in Reed and Mentor in front of him. No one in his face to throw the football. That's why he has lots of time to get it out to Lewis. Then he gets a lucky bounce here. A little bit of backspin on that ball.
And they'll measure to see if he has a first down. Tommy Williams, one of the 2 rookie corners for the Ottawa Rough Riders, hurt his knee in the last Ottawa defensive series. He's got a little ice pack on it. Riders just short of the first down at center field. 2 minutes left, opening quarter, 7-7, Ottawa and Calgary. Stampeders beat the Rough Riders twice last year, 31-15 here, 41-21 in Calgary. Todd Dillon on 2nd and inches. What do you say? Will he air it out here?
Well, I called it last time that I thought Calgary would throw it, and I was wrong, but I'll stick with the throw again.
Wow, what do we got? A little razzle-dazzle. Dillon is going to throw it long, but he didn't fool anybody as he gave it to Minter, got it back for Minter, and then tried to hit James Hood, who was the only receiver out on the play. I know some of the fans are booing, but why not try something like that? Now you go on 3rd down, probably make it.
Well, Mentor takes a handoff and then pitches back and does a good job of blocking Hall at the same time. And again, this could be a communication problem between Hood and Dillon. Hood runs the out, Dillon throws it long.
Yeah. 3rd down and inches. Ottawa at center field. Dillon keeps off the left side, got across the 55-yard line, and should have the Ottawa first down.
Well, that offensive line of Ottawa is stronger with Nick Benjamin back in the lineup. Had that knee problem that before the year started, and it started to flare up, and they had to hold him out of a game a couple of weeks ago, but it's 100% now, and he really makes that line a lot stronger.
And they don't expect Benjamin to be bothered by that off and on through the season. They think he'll be able to stand up now and play the entire year. Ottawa did get the first down with just over a minute left in the first quarter in a 7-7 game. Dillon with time finds Mark Lewis coming back to the quarterback. Hopkins right there defending it about as well as a cornerback can, but it's an 8-yard gain for Ottawa.
Tommy Williams, we saw him with ice on his knee a minute ago. He had twisted it, but he will be back the next time Ottawa's defense takes the field.
Mark Lewis leaving the field as Fred Glick has sent in a play on second down and a couple. He's also sent in an extra running back. That's Larry Moore, so we expect to see a run. And it's Cedric Minner off the right side across the 45 to the Calgary 43. Gain of 3 and an Ottawa first down.
You wonder how that play could ever fail when you've got two guys leading like Moore and Reed. And Mentor really has to read his two running backs ahead of him. He starts up inside and then heads out, and there's a good block by Moore just pushing Finley back. I don't think Finley liked it a whole lot either.
Jim Reed went through there looking for somebody to block and couldn't find anybody. First and 10, Ottawa. Calgary 43, less than a minute to go, first quarter. Dillon hits screen to James Hood. Flag on the play. Hood to the 35. He's to the 30 and knocked out at the Calgary 29. But there is a flag on the play. And the dejected appearance of the Ottawa offensive line would signal that this may be against the Riders.
Procedure, Ottawa 32, first down over.
Jim Reed called for illegal procedure.
Well, Jim Reed, who usually lines up in the backfield, often motions up to the line to either side of his tackle, went wide this time. Being a good blocker, they wanted to get him outside and let his ability knock one of the defensive backs down, but just started rolling a little bit too soon.
Well, it wiped out a 14-yard Ottawa gain, and they'll have first down over and 15 yards to go from back at the Calgary 48 on what will be the final play of the opening quarter, barring a penalty, because a quarter can't end on a penalty. Dillon looks like he's audibling. And he hands off to Cedric Minner, who finds a good hole to the 35 to the Calgary 33. He will be very, very close to a first down for the Ottawa Rough Riders when the second quarter begins. They're having fun at Lansdowne Park in Ottawa. At least this little guy is, or was.
I think he's trying to hide behind that pole.
He wants an Ottawa touchdown. The Rough Riders are in scoring territory as the second quarter begins. They're first and 10 at the Calgary 33. This is Cedric Minner to the 25, to the 20. Gain of 13 or 14. Fred Glick, the head coach of the Rough Riders, told us today that they want Minner to handle the football more.
Well, not only catching it, but running it. And again, it's that power situation led by the two backs. He does a good job of escaping that tackle of Bernie Morrison and then gets upfield. If it hadn't been for Fennerty, he'd probably still be in Toronto, because Bob Obilovich said he thinks he's a fine running back, but just had to lean to Fennerty this year.
Minner at 28 years of age. Still lots of spring in the legs as he showed on that run. First and 10 Ottawa at the Calgary 20-yard line. Dillon gives it to Minner again, and he has lots of room down to the 10 and into the Calgary 9-yard line.
Well, they said they wanted to hit some seams in that defense of the Stampeders, and that's exactly what they're doing. He calls an audible here, changes the play on the line. Minner just takes a quick handoff and up the seam. Good job of the offensive line. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, Matt Finley brought him down. Roger Catalan remains out of the Ottawa lineup with personal and emotional problems. He left the team 2 weeks ago, but Fred Glick said he's undergoing treatment, and they expect Roger Catalan to return. Dillon on first down, throws complete to Larry Moore. He gets away, and Larry Moore has a touchdown. Darryl Toussaint missed Larry Moore.
Well, that's the same play they scored their first touchdown on, though Calgary did a better job of covering this time. Moore goes out to the flat. Dillon's got Mentor in front of him to block. Drops it over the shoulder. Toussaint just can't make the tackle. Good job of Moore breaking about 3 tackles and getting in the end zone.
Let's give Larry Moore a lot of credit. I think that's a 50-50 deal, but I know Bob Vespasiani Has to believe Mr. Toussaint should have made that tackle. Dorsey with the convert. Ottawa ahead 14-7. We are early in the second quarter at Lansdowne Park. Beat BC to up their record of 5-1, the best in the CFL last night. Todd Dillon talking upstairs after throwing his second touchdown pass of the game, and the second one to Larry Moore, putting Ottawa in front by 7. Ron Hopkins has the kickoff back to the 33-yard line of the Calgary Stampeders.
Well, the success Ottawa's having in that short yardage situation comes from being able to run the football. If you can run the football down close, they have to respect it. And then that allows you to do some different things like popping a back out into the flat. Kind of takes the defense off guard.
Rick Johnson and the Calgary Stampeders scored first in this game. Johnson throwing a touchdown pass to Ron Wheeler at 6:15 of the first quarter, but Ottawa has come back to take the lead, and Johnson will go to work now, and he'll run the ball, and he runs into Spallettini across the 45 and up to the 46-yard line. Rick Johnson bouncing off left guard Tom Spallettini and able to work his way upfield for a first down.
You see a smile on Johnson's face, I'm sure. After the defensive back shut down all the receivers, he takes it upfield. Now he wants to come underneath Spallettini, but he can't quite find the area. Now that little bump gets him to first down.
You think he was smiling or trying to catch his breath?
No, that's a smile.
15-yard run for Johnson. First and 10 snaps at their 48. This is Gary Allen, and he's popped at the 50-yard line by Lloyd Lewis, the left defensive end, who slid across to make the tackle.
That man's getting a nose for the end zone. Anytime you get down to the 5-yard line, just give it to Larry Moore.
His first 2 touchdowns of this season, and he scored only 1 in his rookie year last year. 12.5 minutes left in the second quarter. Ottawa leading 14-7. Calgary second down and 7 from the Stampeder 51. Johnson going long for Willis, and he can't catch it. There's a flag on the play down at the 20-yard line of the Ottawa Rough Riders, and Tommy Williams is going to be called for pass interference.
Forward pass interference, Ottawa 37, first down.
Well, Larry Willis just releases off the ball and goes to the outside, and it becomes a foot race. Maybe they're trying to test and see if Tommy Williams' knee's all right. Williams is running with him step for step, and time to starts to ease him out. And I think that last bump pushing him towards that white line is what the interference calls for.
He actually moved over as he was looking at Willis and kind of stepped into him. You would hardly believe it was on purpose, but he did make the contact. One of those marginal calls that went Calgary's way. Here's a handoff to Gary Allen on first down, and he has a gain of about 3 through the middle.
Gary Allen now starting to perform a little bit like he did last year, catching the ball and running the ball well on special teams and out of the running back spot. And then just that one leg by Anthony Woodson, or Allen might have gone for some more yards.
Stampeders second down and 7 from the Ottawa 18. Willis wide left. Woodruff splits wide right. Tolbert and Wheeler, the slot backs. Johnson in the pocket. Throwing in the end zone for Tolbert. Thought the pass was well beyond his reach. As Rick Johnson paid the price for that throw, and one of the few times in the game that he's been hit and hit hard.
Well, we're going to get a look at J.T. Hay, who's had a good year. Maybe hasn't kicked as many as he'd wanted to, especially extra points, but he certainly has been a consistent kicker in his CFL career.
40 points on the season, 75% on his field goal tries. This attempt will be from the 25-yard line, and the wind is very light, so that won't plague Hay too much. The ball is down, and Hay puts it up and through, but there are flags, and they're going to run this one over, as Jacques Decarie had stopped the play before the kick procedure had begun.
Procedure, Calgary 57.
Bob Foley, the Calgary center, was called for illegal procedure.
Well, they're going to get this straightened out, see what the Ottawa defense stands, what they have to do. I don't know what choice they're going to have. they take the penalty, they'll push them back a bit.
Well, they don't have any choice but to take the penalty. The way DeCarey called it, I thought he whistled the play dead, and the field goal was kicked. But Bob Foley is not the snapper because of the broken wrist, but he was the man who jumped. Now, Hay will try it again from the 30-yard line. Good snap. J.T. Hay puts it through, and he cuts into the Ottawa lead. The Rough Riders are up by 4 in the second quarter. We're back at Lansdowne Park with the Calgary Stampeder kickoff after the J.T. Hay field goal. Gerald Alphin has it out to the 40-yard line of the Ottawa Rough Riders. Hay with a 30-yard field goal, his 9th of the season. Ottawa 14 and Calgary 10. Now, how do you suppose Rob Smith got his sweater ripped like that, Neil Lumsden?
Well, the defensive lineman will often come off the ball and try to grab and get some control of that offensive lineman, and so they can throw him, and there's some minor surgery going on there. Some big needles and small needles.
George Hopkins, the equipment manager, going to work at the Calgary bench. Tom Williams again with ice on his knee, which he hurt a few minutes ago, but he has stayed in the game. Todd Dillon on first down looks for Mark Lewis, but it's no good. Richie Hall with the football to no avail. J.T. Hay started his CFL career in Ottawa, played 1 year here, but has spent the rest of it a long and good career in Calgary.
Yes, and he does an awful lot of things in the off-season, is very involved in the community, makes Calgary his home now. His business background is now there, and he really enjoys it, and as I said, he spends an awful lot of time off the football field with some special people.
Ottawa 2nd and 10 at the Rough Rider 39-yard line. Dillon throwing, he's got a man open, it's complete, and then it's fumbled, and the Calgary Stampeders come up with it at their 11-yard line.
Well, the Riders get Mentor out of the backfield and uncovered going down that sidelines.
David McCrary is the injured Calgary Stampeder as Minter was all alone. Dillon threw him a beautiful pass, and then he fumbled the ball.
Oh, he really did. You want to see some speed? Watch Hopkins catch up to Minter, who's no slowpoke. And not only does he catch him, he strips him right there. He's going to make the tackle, and while that arm is coming down to make the tackle to wrap around the knees, might as well pass it over the ball. It might pop out, and pop out it does.
And McCrary, oh, we could see him there twist his leg underneath as he finally got a hold of the ball.
That's just a great play by Hopkins, but you said you see that knee slide underneath, just he's trying to get a handle on it. He turns his back right there, that right knee jams into that turf. That turf just holds onto that shoe, doesn't allow it to pop out.
It was a 46-yard gain for the Ottawa Rough Riders, but the turnover wipes out any chance of them increasing their 4-point lead at this time. Cedric Minter had a good game thus far, but he's shaking his head on that one.
Well, that's frustrating, and nothing makes you angrier than having something like this happen. All you can do is see the end zone. He says, I have a touchdown, and he pulls it away. But the Stampeders were caught in a blitz there. That was the perfect call by Dillon, because Mentor got a chance to wheel out of the backfield, go into the flat, then turn up the sidelines, and really no one was there to cover him.
Pat Clayton, the athletic therapist for Calgary, helping McCrary off the field. Dillon and Minter and Ken Clark were all laughing about the fumble. I guess I don't see a lot of humor in it if you're an Ottawa Rough Rider, but there's no point getting upset, I guess. Just one of those things.
I'm sure they're saying, we'll do it again. It'll happen again. We'll get the same situation, and this time you'll score.
David McCrary, good to see him leaving the field without any assistance. Stampeders, the fumble recovery, take over at their 13-yard line. Rick Johnson, lots of time, has a man wide open. Wheeler at the 25, and he bowls his way up to the 29, maybe the 30-yard line. Johnson sprinting out, Neil, and he had all day.
Oh, he certainly did, and Dozier sprinted out on the defense with him to try to keep the quarterback to his inside. That's his job, to contain. Johnson finds Wheeler, then turns it upfield, and Tommy Williams wanted no part of this big man. He went down and made the tackle right by the ankles.
So Tommy Williams stays in, sore knee and all. The Calgary Stampeders at their 30. First and 10. Ottawa leading 14-10. Handoff. McVeigh, the rookie, to the 40, up to the 45-yard line. Big hole for Andy McVeigh, the rookie from the University of Toronto.
Well, he had an outstanding training camp with the Stamps, not only on the offense as a running back, but special teams in it. The action in the backfield looks kind of strange because everyone starts to the right, then he hands it off underneath. Now, the reason that action takes a little bit of time is because the hole takes time to form.
Gary Allen left the play for that one game, but he's back in as the Stampeders back-to-back first downs move from their 13 up to their 45-yard line. First and 10, and Allen with the ball, flag on the play. Mike Klein right there to stop Gary Allen, but we do have a penalty flag.
Offside, Ottawa 83.
Michel Bourgeot offside for the Ottawa Rough Riders. Word from the Calgary bench is that David McCrary is just fine and will return to the game.
Well, that type of injury can be more like a strain. Sore when it happens because of all the pressure, but if there is no damage, they'll probably keep some ice on it to keep the swelling down, but he'll be allowed to return.
Jerome Erdman, one of the receivers of the Ottawa Rough Riders. 7 minutes, 45 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Ottawa leading 14-10. Calgary, first down over, 5 yards to go from their 50 after the offside penalty to Bourgeot. The fake toss and the gift to McVeigh, and he will be close to the first down, a gain of between 4 and 5 yards. But there is a flag.
Holding, Calgary 57.
Center Bob Poley is called for holding. He'll take them back, the Stampeders back 10 yards.
Poley's probably telling the ref, I can't hold with this cast on my hand. It couldn't have been me.
We asked Bob Vespasiani if he's ever been through anything like this, a 6-game losing streak in his long coaching career. In high school, 1969, they were 0-8. Bob Poley, despite the broken bone in his arm, able to play. Stampeders, first down, pass by Johnson, and it's complete to Colbert. Way down at the Ottawa 34-yard line, a first and 15 play, and Johnson throws a gorgeous pass.
He certainly does, and that middle again is open. They've tried to threaten that area before. They've been successful, and Rick Johnson gets back quickly. It's one of his attributes. He can get back and look at the defense early, and there he is, wide open down the seam.
Well, we better give credit where credit is due. That was Larry Willis and not Emmanuel Tolbert. Good play for the Stamps, moves them down to the Ottawa 34-yard line. Handoff McVeigh. Kenny Ford grabs him at the 30, but McVeigh will have around 4 yards on that run. Ottawa Rough Riders use Michel Bourgeot, Lloyd Lewis, and Mike Klein up front. Dozier, Woodson, Ford, and Wayne are their linebackers. Neil Fred Glick said he's thinking about going to a 4-man line.
Well, with Greg Marshall ready to return after that pinched nerve in his neck, he said if this defense doesn't come through for them today, they will go with the best 3 linebackers of these 4, put Marshall down and go with a 4-down lineman and 3 linebackers.
Second and 6 Stamps at the Ottawa 30. Johnson looking for Woodruff. And the pass nowhere near him, down around the 5-yard line. And that'll bring up a field goal situation for J.T. Hay and the Calgary Stampeders. Glick does not want to go to the 4-3 because he is a 3-4 man, but you have to use the best people that you have.
You can't try to force a defensive style into a personnel that it doesn't fit, and I think it's good sense that he's thinking about making a change if he has to.
Greg Marshall has missed the last couple of games with a pinched nerve in his neck, but he is ready to play again. Hay will try a 37-yard field goal, and it's wide to the right. Kyle Hall fields it in the end zone and gives up the single point. So it's now 14-11 for the Ottawa Rough Riders as we move late into the second quarter. Five minutes and 27 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Lansdowne Park in Ottawa. J.T. Hay with a single and a wide 37-yard field goal has made the score Ottawa 14, Calgary 11. Rough Riders start from their 35 with a first and 10. Todd Dillon. Stu Laird with pressure, and Dillon can't get away. He's down back at the 27 to 28-yard line. Stu Laird helped by Vince Goldsmith to sack Todd Dillon.
The Calgary defense has been as aggressive this game as I've seen them. They're doing some more stunts, and maybe the addition of Sandy Armstrong, putting some new blood in there, getting somebody all fired up. He's a gung-ho type of guy. Maybe he can turn things around for them.
Second down and 16, Ottawa. Dillon stepping away from some pressure, buying time, finding lots of it. Now he'll run. McBenjamin gives him a block, and Dillon is up to the 44-yard line of Ottawa. He's within a yard of a first down.
Todd Dillon gets some pressure from the outside by Vince Goldsmith. Damon takes him to the ground, and Dillon gets the outside, and pretty gutsy. Doesn't get out of bounds. Knows where that first down marker is and puts his head down and tries to get some more yards. But he's always looking. He doesn't like to run the football unless he has to.
He doesn't like to run it, but he is a good runner.
Good little move back here, back against the flow, and put that head down.
Ottawa less than a yard away from a first down, but Fred Glick sends out Ken Clark and the punt team on third down and less than a yard at the Ottawa 44. Kick coverage time will be monitored by CFN. As Clark hits an end-over-end boot that he doesn't like. Richie Hall at the 27-yard line. And he gets some good room up to the 40-yard line, the 41. At halftime today on the Canadian Football Network, we will give you a personal look at one of Calgary's leaders, 10-year veteran place kicker J.T. Hay.
Your success is monitored right away. It's either good or it's bad. There's no excuses to be made.
J.T. Hay doing some charting at the Calgary bench with 4:23 left in the first half. Ottawa leading 14-11, and Calgary first and 10 at the Stamp 40.5. Johnson fakes, goes to the sideline, and it's complete at the 50 to Larry Willis. He'll have a gain of 9.5 yards. Bob Vespasiani says in his opinion Willis is as good as any receiver in the CFL.
Well, they certainly feel he's got all the potential. He's got the speed. He's got great size. You know, 5'11", 180. Likes the way he reads downfield. Has to become a little bit more mature in how he reacts to defenses, but he's coming a long way. And the way they've started this year, they've had to overcome a lot of things. He can be a big part of this offense.
Second down for Calgary. Less than a yard to go at their 50-yard line. Johnson hands off right side. Tim Petros will be close to the first down. He had to get to the 51-yard line, and I think they've marked him just beyond that. So it appears to be a Stampeder first down as we move inside of 4 minutes remaining in the first half.
Seeing the Stampeder backfield move around a little bit as far as personnel. You can see Petros and Allen there at one time, and then McVeigh might be at halfback or McVeigh might be at fullback. So they're certainly using their abilities to the best of their potential.
Despite their troubles this year, the Stampeders have some young players that they're so high on, and rightly so. McVeigh is one of them. We talked about Willis. Right now they're first and 10, the Stamps at their 51. David McCrary's another. Johnson, big heat, gets away though, and is able to get the ball away. He threw it away, but he's not called for it. Ottawa with a 3-point lead late in the second quarter. Less than 3 minutes to go in the second quarter at Lansdowne Park in Ottawa. The Ottawa Rough Riders 3 points up on Calgary. Stampeders second down and 10 from the Calgary 51-yard line. Rick Johnson has gone all the way at quarterback for the Stamps, and his pass is tipped and comes up short of Ron Wheeler. There is a flag on the play though.
Holding Calgary 34.
Andy McVeigh, the running back, is called for holding. Ottawa will decline that, I would guess, and force Calgary to punt.
Seems in second down situations when they want to throw the football, they'll put Andy McVeigh in with Petros. They feel that combination is better for blocking.
Well, Glenn Harper is in the game again. We'll see if he can get this kick coverage time over 6. If he does, Bob Vespasiani will be happy. This one's going to bounce, which kind of distorts what we're trying to show you. But with the bounce, he gets an extra second or two, and the coverage people get downfield, and the Ottawa Rough Riders have a very short return. Now, Neil Lumsden, what have you got there? You're not going to hit me.
It's a glove that the offensive and defensive linemen are using in the CFL. It's almost like a heavy bag glove that they would use in boxing. It's great protection across the front. It also has an extra pad here. The offensive linemen take a tremendous beating, always putting their hands out. This allows them to deliver a punch or a blow with the flat of their hand. And then when you're playing a team like today, Powell has them on, he'll put some white tape over them or paint them white, so if he is holding, no one can see the black on the white.
Todd Dillon passing on first down, complete to Hood. It is legal then to punch another player. I know what you mean when you say punch. The offensive linemen are constantly pushing out with their hands, of course.
Well, they want some separation from the defensive linemen. And I think that when they come off, he wants to bang them. And those hands get caught in there. There's shoulder pads and there's helmets, masks. You want to try to protect them, and usually they just tape them. But now these have come on. The last couple of years they've been wearing these. They do a great job. They really, I mean, I'd give them to you and let you punch the wall, but I know that your hands aren't quite that rugged.
Could you catch a pass with those?
No. And centers don't always wear them because it's hard to snap the ball occasionally.
Right. Okay. First down pass by Todd Dillon is no good. I wonder why more offensive linemen don't wear those gloves.
A lot of them do. I think if you look, for example, the Eskimos, most of the Eskimos wear them. Rod Conop at center, he wears them and he snaps the ball because their fingers are free. And anything you can do to protect yourself, I'd wear too. Fred
Glick wanting primarily, well, to win this game, but to get a better showing out of his offensive team. They're in front 14-11, the Ottawa Rough Riders. And their offense has been somewhat productive. Dillon throwing for Alphin, but it's behind him down at the 48-yard line, and Ottawa will have to punt it away.
We've seen the Riders sprint out a couple of times this afternoon, but not as many as I thought they would, especially after talking to Fred Glick, saying that we want to move our pocket around, give Dillon some confidence to throw the football. He can throw the ball well on the run. Helps the receivers out too.
Ken Clark will hit the ball from around his 30-yard line on third down and 10. Clark hits a high boot. This should be over 6 seconds on kick coverage time. Richie Hall at the 24-yard line, 6'9". That's good time. And Hall is up to the 33-yard line. Good run back on the Ken Clark punt.
Well, that's the type of punt the coaches are looking for. A good hang time and almost 4.5 seconds. Gives the coverage team time to get away from the defensive man that's blocking him, go down in their lanes and make a hit. Even though he escapes there, he still takes a pretty good shot from Kenny Ford. Not great coverage, but good coverage.
Richie Hall is still feeling that shot from Kenny Ford as Pat Clayton moves out to check on Richie Hall, the little big man of the Calgary Stampeders. What do they measure him at, Neil? 5'6"?
160 pounds with a nickname of Pint.
Well, he's in his 5th year, defying the odds given his size, but he has been a very, very productive player for the Calgary Stampeders, defensive halfback and kick returning. 1:25 left in the second quarter. Ottawa leading 14-11. Calgary with a chance to do something about that deficit. 1st and 10 from their 33. Johnson down the right sideline. Willis has it at the Ottawa 50-yard line. Calvin Lovell was on the coverage that time on Larry Willis.
Well, Willis gets an opportunity to loaf down the sidelines, and I don't mean he wasn't working hard, but it almost seems to lull the defensive back into a state of, well, he's not going to throw to this man. All of a sudden the ball's there.
Johnson going with a hurry-up offense from the Ottawa 50, 1st and 10. He throws, and it's complete for a gain of 5 yards. Emmanuel Tolbert hauling that one in. Now Johnson calls for a huddle because the play went out of bounds and the clock won't start till the football is snapped.
I would think Vespasiani's pleased with what he sees from his offense so far in this game. They've done some good things. They've had some drives stalled by their own players dropping the football, but consistency was the problem, and they seem to have eliminated a lot of that today.
2nd and 4. Stamps at the Ottawa 44. Gary Allen. And he will not have the first down. 1 minute left in the first half. Gary Allen hit by Patrick Wayne, the rookie linebacker, starting today. And Allen comes up a couple of yards short of the first down.
Now the decision. Should I take a chance and go for it? The running game's been going pretty well. Rick Johnson, I'm sure, wants to go for it. Didn't even want to look at the sidelines.
Well, it's either that or try a 49-yard field goal, and the Stamps on third and a couple will gamble inside. 1 minute to go in the first half, and Ottawa leading by 3. Johnson hands off. Gary Allen hit in the backfield, and he is stopped short. Michel Bourgeot penetrated and made a big defensive play for Ottawa.
Well, he certainly did. He came through a gap between the center guard area untouched. Nice low diving style that he comes off the ball with. He just makes a great play here.
Coming into this game, Calgary had lost the ball on downs 14 times in their first 7 games. Now, a lot of those are late in the game when you're going on third down all the time, but that's an awfully high number. 39 seconds left first half. Ottawa takes over at their 43, so they have a chance to pad their lead. Mark Lewis with the ball, and he is popped and fumbles at the 50 of Calgary, and Ottawa got it back. Cedric Minner recovered as Mark Lewis was blindsided, and the ball came flying out of his arms, but Cedric Minner, who fumbled earlier, got it back.
That's a heads-up play by Minner, but anytime you're going to catch a ball over the middle, especially if you change directions like this, there's going to be some pursuit from behind. In pursuit there is. There's a tremendous hit laid on him, and then the ball pops out.
But Ottawa gets it back. Dillon gets the ball away. It was nearly intercepted, and there's a flag on the play. Bernie Morrison.
Holding Ottawa 68.
And the Rough Riders are called for holding Nick Benjamin.
Occasionally when you're going upfield and you've got the football, you do look upfield. You don't worry about what's from behind you. Boy, there's quite a shot put on him by Quincy Williams.
Michel Bourgeot made the big play on the Calgary third down gamble to stop the Stampeders short and get Ottawa the football back.
That young man was one of the finest skiers in Canada when he was a teenager. He's a tremendous athlete.
First down, over 20 yards to go. Ottawa after the holding penalty against Benjamin. Dillon, he's got lots of room, but he hesitated and lost some of that room. He nonetheless gains 10 yards, and there's a late hit called on the Calgary Stampeders. Gene Belleville was called for a late hit.
On Calgary 84, first down.
And that is going to give Ottawa at least a chance to kick a field goal before this first half ends.
Well, that's like giving points away, an unnecessary penalty. Seconds left in the half, and Todd Dillon and the Ottawa offensive team will run at least one more play, and then we'll, if they don't get it in the end zone, see Dean Dorsey. And the clock won't start until the ball is snapped because of the penalty. Dillon wanted to throw quickly. Now he gets it to Mark Lewis at the 25. He's to the 20, to the 15, and out of bounds at the 14-yard line of Calgary. 4 seconds still remain in the first half. An exciting receiver, Mark Lewis. Everyone looks at James Hood to be the Mr. Excitement because of last year's performance, but Lewis can do it all also. Well, the applause you are hearing is for Dean Dorsey, who will attempt to tie Don Sweet's CFL record for consecutive field goals, which is 21. And it will be, as field goals go, an easy 21-yarder. Well, he always takes 3 steps back, which is 3 yards, shuffles to his left, and then moves up just a touch. Now Jacques DeCarry.
Timeout, Calgary.
Jacques DeCarry whistling play dead because the Calgary Stampeders call the timeout. Dorsey, is he smiling, looking over at the Calgary bench, saying, "You're not going to rattle me with that one"? Well, he'll go through the same procedure every time he sets that tee down, as I was saying. Gets himself exactly 3 yards back. Always looking down at the tee, then he shuffles to his left, then he kind of inches up a bit. He does it every time, and that's probably why he's so doggone consistent. This streak, if he ties Sweet's record, will span 2 seasons. This started November 1st against Edmonton. Dorsey attempting to kick his 21st straight field goal, a 21-yarder. The ball is down by Clark. It's up, and it is good. Dorsey has tied Don Sweet's CFL record set with Montreal in 1976 at 21 straight field goals. And we have a record-tying performance almost at the end of the first half. There is still 1 second left on the clock.
Well, I wonder if it's just setting up just like it's in practice. Get the ball placed by Kenny Clark, swing her through. It's that simple.
You know, Dorsey would consider that such a routine field goal, really, from that distance. I mean, to tie the record, I'm sure he's thrilled. But a 21-yard field goal, he's got to look at that as a piece of cake.
Well, it's a piece of cake maybe for kicking it, but you never know what that defense is going to do. You've got guys like James Zachary in the league who blocked 5 kicks last year. You know Calgary didn't want to be the team that he broke the record.
Now we had Brian Kelly breaking Tommy Scott's career touchdown reception record with his 89th in Toronto on Friday night on CFN. Dorsey has now tied Don Sweet, and perhaps he'll have a chance to break the record. Do we have to put an asterisk beside it, Neil, because it was over 2 seasons? I don't think so.
I don't think so at all. It's consistent kicks. Still have to do it, and they're all in games, so they should all count.
One more to go, Dean Dorsey. That's all right, Dean. You don't have to suppress that smile. Injured Ottawa Rough Rider on that field goal. Jerry Dobrovolny, the backup offensive lineman, and the only one they have grasped. 1 second left in the half as Ottawa has moved ahead by 6. Rick Johnson and the Calgary Stampeders will simply put the time away with a handoff to Tim Petros. So we saw a good first half here at Lansdowne Park with the Ottawa Rough Riders leading by 6 points. J.T. Hay, Dorsey's counterpart. Dorsey's only in his 4th year with the Ottawa Rough Riders at 30 years of age. He was with Cincinnati, or tried out with Cincinnati in the NFL back in 1982, was cut. He went to Toronto, the Toronto Argonauts, before moving over to Ottawa. A little stretching there by rookie corner Rod Brown of the Ottawa Rough Riders.
You'd almost think somebody's waiting for somebody to help him out, help him up. Got to get those hamstrings stretched out.
All right, J.T. Hay kicks it off, and we're underway in the second half. Gerald Alphin on the short kickoff. And he brings it back to the Ottawa 44, maybe the 45-yard line.
Well, a good safe return. Nothing too fancy with kicking off from the 35-yard line. That ball hangs in the air for a long time. It's tough to get a good setup for a return on the kickoff return, so best to be safe, catch the ball, and take it up the sidelines.
Very good first half for Todd Dillon. The Ottawa Rough Rider quarterback and the man around whom they are building their future. He'll start from his 44. That's Erdman in motion. Dillon throws to a wide-open Jim Reed. He puts his head down, bowls a couple of Stampeders over, Tucson and McCrary, and he'll have a first down. That's old-fashioned football, I think they would say.
Boy, that's just popping people, isn't it? And that grin on his face tells the whole story. There's nothing better that Jim Reed likes to get the ball in the flat, get a chance to get that big upper body turned around, and now he drops that shoulder and just drills Tucson.
Oh, that's not fair. Look at that.
He's had an outstanding career. He's come back from a couple of knee injuries, had a great college career. Wilfrid Laurier, used primarily as a blocker in college, but really can run with the football if he gets a chance.
That's the first time he's handled the football today, big Jim Reed. And one of the Stampeders he collided with, Darrell Tucson. Still isn't sure what city he's in, I don't think. It's 29-year-old Jim Reed, who started his CFL career in Hamilton.
Well, if Tucson was to have a chance, he had to hit Reed before he got the football, because he gets that left arm down and that shoulder drop. It's just like stopping a car from rolling.
Well, that's one of the things that makes this game fun, is hard hitting. Now, Tucson, I'm sure would agree with that general philosophy, but right now he is feeling the pain of hard hitting. Ottawa 1st and 10 at the Calgary 54. Dillon again to Reed, who juggles and won't be able to get a shoulder into anybody this time, as Bernie Morrison wraps him up and brings him down for a very short gain, if any gain at all.
Hamstrings have been a problem this year. We've seen a lot of players pull them. There's an injury that has to stick with you. And Dobrevoni has pulled it. Doctors say he can't continue. We'll get into his regular clothes, out of his football gear, and watch for the rest of the afternoon.
Well, Ottawa will then have a major problem if they get an injury to an offensive lineman, because Jerry Dobrevoni, the only backup they had. Here's a long pass to Alphin, and he'll score. Gerald Alphin actually had to turn and look back over the other shoulder. What a catch he made.
Well, in this situation, Dillon is going to lead him to an open area. Quarterbacks throw their receivers open oftentimes. He saw him going to the corner. He makes a tremendous adjustment and takes it into the end zone.
Boy, when you can get your receiver to do that, make that kind of an adjustment, that's really something.
That's a heads-up play, and poor Daryl Tucson, he gets run over by Jim Reed, and now he gets beaten by Alpha. Last three plays have not been good for Daryl Tucson.
Dean Dorsey will attempt to convert, and he drives it through. So the Ottawa Rough Riders at 1:39 of the third quarter increase their lead to 24-11. So if the Calgary Stampeders are going to snap that losing streak of 6 games, they will have to come back to do it. I guess all the work they've done on their offense, Neil, the Ottawa Rough Riders, in these past 2 weeks, and they had a break last weekend, has paid off, because they look sharp this afternoon.
Well, they certainly do. And this man right here, Todd Dillon, has responded very well after the last game in BC, where he was hesitant, according to Fred Glick. Wasn't happy setting up in the pocket. Questioned his offensive line because of 2 people that weren't able to play, in Catlin and Benjamin. But he's come right back and is just throwing the ball with some authority. Sits back in the pocket and looks, and his receivers are doing a good job of getting open. 3rd
touchdown of the season for Gerald Alphin, as Dillon has a laugh. No smile on this man's face. Bob Vespasiani, 2nd-year head coach of the Calgary Stampeders. Watching an all too familiar story. 24-11 Ottawa as Dorsey kicks it off. Ron Hopkins at the 10. Ooh, he was snowed under at the 25-yard line. Big Gerald Alphin. Picked him up from Montreal in the dispersal draft, and he's made a real impact on their offense, Neil.
He certainly has. Momentum on special teams. Once you make a big play on offense or defense, it can carry over. And here's a classic example of Ford coming down, gets away from some blockers, and then just pops the returner.
Stampeders with Rick Johnson at quarterback. He's been there the whole game. 1st and 10 from their 26.5 with their first possession of the second half. McVeigh carrying, and he'll have 8 or 9 yards. Ford and Dozier made the stop.
We'll talk to Vespasiani before the game. He says one of the toughest thing to do is keep the fun in the game for these guys. But he said if you're going to have fun, you have to start to win.
That's Jerry Dobrevoni, who was injured in the first half and who we do not expect to see back. UBC graduate in his 5th year. Well, we know he's not going to be back dressed like that. 2nd down and 3. Stampeders at their 34-yard line. And Petros, and he was met at the 35-yard line, or even before he got to the 35-yard line, by a charged-up Ottawa defensive unit.
Well, I think newcomer Patrick Wayne got the first shot. Petros drops his shoulder and hits up in there, and Patrick Wayne just stops him cold. Skull controlling the line. Doesn't allow himself to get blocked, and then just holds his ground. 6'4", 230 pounds, played with the Richmond Raiders in junior football, and is quite a find for Ottawa. Just needs some more experience.
Well, now the Stampeders are 3rd down and a good 2 yards, and they are going to gamble at their 35-yard line. I am surprised. Gary Allen tripped up, and I don't think he got the first down. They're going to give him the 36-yard line, which will make it very, very close. And I'm sure they'll measure. Actually, Allen had a big hole there, but just got grabbed by the ankle as he went around the corner and stumbled. And it looks to me like it's short, although, as I say, I'm sure they'll measure. That's Jacques DeCarry asked for the change now. 3rd and 2 from your 35.
Well, in both short yardage situations for Calgary, the initial hit's been made right after the running back has had the ball handed to him. They've got to seal that off. The offensive linemen have to do a better job of taking the area away.
We're early in the 3rd quarter, and the Ottawa Rough Riders are up by 13 and have another great chance to score. The Calgary Stampeders have just turned the ball over on downs to the Ottawa Rough Riders, failing on a 3rd and 2 gamble from their 35-yard line. Ottawa stopping them a good foot short of a first down, and the Riders taking over and leading by 13 points. Dillon will be sacked back at the 46 or 47. So Calgary gets a big defensive play, and that's exactly what they needed after turning the ball over. There's Bob Vespasiani, the coach. Lamont Jeffers made that sack. I guess Neil Vespasiani is thinking we just have to get some momentum going. We have to do radical things to try and get this thing going.
Well, when you put yourself in that position, you can often lose because you're taking chances. It's the little things that are hurting them. Not making the blocks in the short yardage, as we've seen today twice. The little things what get you.
Lamont Jeffers with that sack at 2nd and 19. Ottawa. Dillon is going to run. He's to the 40. The 35 and hit hard at the 34-yard line. He'll have a gain of 11 yards, but will be 8 short of the first down. And this means, of course, that Dean Dorsey will try to break the record for consecutive field goals in the CFL.
It's really a pleasure to watch Dean Dorsey kick. They say in practice he rarely misses. This is even flabbergasted Glick. He says he has him once or twice a week only. He is so consistent.
This will be a 41-yard try. A gentle wind here at Lansdowne Park. It was with Dorsey, if anything. The kick is up, lots of distance, and it's good. Dean Dorsey has kicked his 22nd straight field goal. That is a CFL record.
But he's done it so many times, and he does it exactly the same way. The importance of having a good holder, Dorsey will tell you. Ken Clark is as much of that kick as he is, because if it doesn't get down on the tee and placed properly, the ball won't go through.
A record-breaking time, 5:03 of the 3rd quarter, a 40-yard field goal by Dean Dorsey, his 22nd straight, to break the record he shared with Don Sweet. Rick Johnson on first down throws incomplete, intended for Tony Woodruff.
Well, that play was well executed, except the ball wasn't caught. He did a super job, Rick Johnson, of making a fake. Even the defensive lineman turned and watched Gary Allen as if he had the ball run downfield. It's too bad that wasn't complete, but because that would have been the perfect play.
2nd down and 10. Stampeders from their 35-yard line. They're trailing now by 16 points, 27-11. Here comes a big rush. Lloyd Lewis has Rick Johnson. Rocco Romano chasing Lloyd Lewis after being beaten. I assume it was Romano that was beaten on the play, and Johnson is sacked for a loss of 8 yards.
Well, Lloyd Lewis gets up the field quickly on Romano, and then he gets underneath Romano on the left side. Once you're underneath that shoulder, the offensive lineman, the only thing he can do is drag you down or let you go, and that time he just powered his way past Romano.
Glenn Harper will punt on 3rd down and 18. gets a good kick away. Mark Lewis at the 40. Coverage time of 5.6 is considered no better than average as Mark Lewis brings it back to the 47. The Ottawa Rough Riders, midway through the third quarter, lead by 16 points. Park in Ottawa, and joining us is Frank Clare, who came to Ottawa in the CFL in 1956 with the Rough Riders and rejoined the team this year as a special advisor for scouting and public relations. Frank, are you pleased to be back with the Ottawa Rough Riders?
Very much so, Bob, and we've had a tough time of it up till now, but we're starting to look a little better in this game, and hopefully things will come along.
Yeah, I know you spent a few years with the Toronto Argonauts, but this is your CFL home and your home period, isn't it?
That's right.
Certainly seems like the product that's on the field now is starting to resemble what happened a few years ago. The people are getting excited. They're playing exciting football.
That's right. I think that our team just needs, we're a little bit young in spots, and I think it's just a matter of time till we get our quarterback working, and we'll be all right.
Frank, tell us exactly what you're doing for the Ottawa Rough Riders.
Well, I'm doing scouting and, of course, some PR work, luncheons and all that. They like to see the old fella, I guess, now and then. But other than that, I'm scouting down south. I do that in the wintertime. Nice place to do it down there.
You coached Ottawa to 3 Grey Cup victories and then were the manager for 2 others. Is there one particular thing about that long, successful era you had that really stands out?
Well, I guess you can ask a guy like Neil about that. He's been in enough of them himself. It is a great feeling to be on a winner. There's nothing like it. It was for me, and I'm sure my players felt the same, like Neil and all the rest of the guys at Edmonton. Winning is not the most important thing, but it's the main thing.
Glad to be a part of what could be the winning spirit coming back to Ottawa.
Yes, I think that's part of it. Some ways they look back in the years and say, well, this man's accomplished something, and hopefully we can do the same thing again.
Frank, thanks very much. We appreciate you joining us.
Thank you, Bob.
Frank Clare, former general manager and coach of the Ottawa Rough Riders, who is back with the team this year after a few years with the Toronto Argonauts. As Paul Robson tries to restore some of that football tradition, the great pass tradition that was built up here in Ottawa. Ken Clark just hit a huge punt for the Ottawa Rough Riders, hitting Calgary back at their 25-yard line.
Well, I just quickly, you not only talk about tradition, but the smarts, the football knowledge. That's what that man has.
Rick Johnson and the Stampeders trailing by 16, and Dozier nearly picked off that little swing pass by Gary Allen. And you know, Neil, we talked a lot in the first half about how good Johnson threw the ball and how the confidence seemed to be back. It's appearing to me now that with that big deficit and things not working for them, the Stamps are struggling and floundering a bit.
Well, a natural reaction when you're behind, especially when you've been behind so often this year, is to force things. I think it's not necessarily that play was forced. The Rider defense just did a super job of reading the play.
Second down and 10, Stampeders from their 25. Johnson with Lloyd Lewis all over him, and down he goes. And Lewis has a little fun.
Now Lewis is having a lot of fun.
Okay.
I'll tell you, when you can run off the field after a defensive series, you know you're having a great time. And what he's doing here, as he did to Romano, is getting good position on Elirenko, putting him into a situation where he can't block Lewis, and then it's a sprint to the quarterback.
Well, the Ottawa Rough Riders appear to be a step ahead of the Calgary Stampeders in everything right now. Lloyd Lewis was a step ahead of Kerry Elirenko as he sacked Johnson for a big loss. The Glenn Harper punt to Mark Lewis at center field. He'll move to his left. And he's going to get around the corner. Well, he's going to try it again, and he's brought down back at the 52-yard line. Marshall Toner with some good downfield work to stop Mark Lewis from turning the corner.
Well, this man had 16.5 sacks last year, and in the last game against the BC Lions, they only had 1 sack as a group, and he said, we're going to get some more today. We didn't play well enough. When we play the Stampeders, we're going to get after that quarterback and get after him. He's doing.
Rick Johnson conversing with the offensive people with the Calgary Stampeders. Larry Koharek again is the assistant coach who normally is in the spotter's box, the backfield and receiver and quarterback coach, but he's down on the sidelines today in an attempt to improve their line of communications. Tim Petros injured for Calgary.
And all that pressure's coming without the all-star. Greg Marshall, who usually plays the end, his place is being taken by Mike Klein. Greg Marshall hurt his neck. It's kind of a pinched nerve against Saskatchewan. It got worse as the game went on. Almost, he said to me today, that his fingers were numb by the end of the game. You don't play with an injury like that. Dr. Rudy Gittins of the Ottawa Rough Riders took a very close look at him and said he needs some rest, needs some therapy, and we won't let him play until it's 100%.
Marshall conversing with Michel Bourgeot as Tim Petros appears to be okay. Just over 7 minutes left in the third quarter, and Ottawa leading Calgary 27-11. Ottawa first and 10 at their 52 after the Stampeder punt. This is Cedric Minner to center field and into the Calgary 53-yard line for a gain of 4, maybe 5.
Well, the Calgary defense has been put in this position many times this year. Backs against the wall. Almost seems like it's up to them to make the big play. Turnover, strip the ball, do something so the offense can get good field position and get some points.
Gene Beliveau made that stop as 6:37 remains in the third quarter. Second down, Ottawa. They have 5 yards to go from the Calgary 53. Gerald Alphin in motion right. Reed and Minner both move as Dillon drops and gets the ball away for James Hood, complete at the 36-yard line. McCrary was right there to hit him, but Todd Dillon threw a perfect football.
Well, Dillon moves to the left, and Hood is isolated one-on-one with McCrary on the right side, and he just runs a simple down and in pattern. Nothing too fancy, but the way McCrary's playing, that makes that ball the throw and the catch that much easier.
Todd Dillon is having quite a day for the Ottawa Rough Riders. James Hood limps out wide right on this first down from the Calgary 36. Dillon with time, looking for Mark Lewis, has him open at the 22. He's down to the 15, gets away, and he may score. Did Lewis get in? No, they say he went out at the 1-foot line. Of course, they'll move it back to the 1. Lewis doesn't agree, quite naturally, as he points to the...
He says if that comes off, it's a touchdown, isn't it?
The end zone marker there. But he did a good job of getting away, Neil, from the first tackle.
Well, we've said he's an exciting receiver, and if Hood and Lewis ever get going together, they're going to be a very, very tough duo to stop. And he just makes a simple move on Hopkins, but then breaks a tackle. Now he's trying to set up the defensive back. It's not a sprint to the corner. Use that straight arm, but Hopkins knocks him out of bounds.
Aren't the things we're seeing now from Calgary symptomatic of a losing team? Hopkins missed that tackle. They're just starting to come apart.
Snowball.
Yeah. First and goal, Ottawa at the Calgary 1. Minner, touchdown.
Well, maybe those headsets will come off now because I'm sure he doesn't want to hear what they've been saying upstairs about the defense and the way the Ottawa offense is starting to roll.
Quite a different look on the face of Fred Glick, the head coach of the Ottawa Rough Riders. Dean Dorsey will attempt to convert the Minner touchdown. And he does, and the Ottawa Rough Riders now lead the Calgary Stampeders 34-11. Cedric Minner's third touchdown of the season has put the Ottawa Rough Riders in front by 23 points, and Dean Dorsey's kickoff is fielded by Andy McVeigh. And with a good effort, he's across the 40.
Cedric Minner got an opportunity to carry the ball in the short yardage. Larry Moore did it twice before, and it's that power situation. This time they hand the ball off. Led by Jim Reed and Larry Moore to the left side, and he just hops over that goal line.
Cedric Minner having his best day as an Ottawa Rough Rider since coming over in the trade with the Toronto Argonauts. 170 yards rushing on the season for Minner. And he's tacked on 54 today with a nifty average of nearly 7 yards a carry. Rick Johnson and the Stampeders now looking for some offense. Johnson throws Colbert, no good, intercepted by Rod Brown. And when it starts going bad for you sometimes, it just doesn't stop.
Well, with the pressure that Johnson's received in the few series before this play, They figure they better start rolling him out, and he rolls out, and he has lots of time. Picks his receiver out. The ball's just not being pulled down. He's not getting any help from his receivers.
Well, that was a pretty good throw by Rick Johnson. The Stampeders have committed 5 more turnovers today. Here's Minter on a first down Ottawa play, and he's down to the Calgary 52-yard line for a gain of about 8. Finley, Hopkins, and Laird made the stop.
That's one of those plays that form a little bit late. The motion goes right, and Minter just sits and waits for the ball to be handed to him. Then he comes back the backside. Interesting to note, after the ball was snapped, Marv Allemang waited and then pulled back out to make the kickout block for him.
We're late in the third quarter at Lansdowne Park. The Ottawa Rough Riders leading the Calgary Stampeders 34-11. On second and a couple, Minter has lots off the right side. He'll gain 5 and an Ottawa first down. Marv Allemang was acquired from Hamilton in a draft held before the start of the season, equalization draft. And he has really meant a lot to the Ottawa Rough Riders. His experience. This is his 13th CFL season, and we're going to focus our cameras on Allemang when the next play is run, and then come back and show you on isolation what he did.
It was interesting that he was drafted by the Riders. Originally, was a lot smaller than, was started as a defensive lineman, linebacker, bulked himself up and has played center and done so very well.
Jim Reed, the injured Ottawa Rough Rider. Allemang, after starting his CFL career in 1975 with Ottawa, went to BC, went to Hamilton, went to Winnipeg, went back to Hamilton, and now he's back in Ottawa.
And Al Bruno makes no bones about it. He hated to lose him in that draft.
Yeah. First and 10 Ottawa, Calgary 47-yard line. Dillon has a man open. It's Larry Moore. He has the ball, is driven out of bounds by Hopkins at the 43 for a gain of 4.
The center's responsibility changes. Sometimes there's a man on his nose, but against the Calgary defense, no one is directly on him, so he will snap the ball. Now he has to help out, and he will peel back looking both ways to either help out either guard, whoever needs it, or wait for a linebacker to blitz.
Jim Reed, the fullback of the Ottawa Rough Riders, appears to have a bleeding nose. He's attended to at the bench as Cedric Minter makes a good run on second down and 6 and gets within a yard of an Ottawa first down. Bob Vespasiani, you know, I mean, you just have to feel compassion for a gentleman in the situation he's in, and yet if you could read somebody's mind, you'd love to do it now. He's tried just about everything that he would think of to try, but it hasn't made things turn around for his football team. At least it hasn't today.
Well, that's the one problem with coaching. You try to prepare your players. You do what you can off the field to make sure they're ready to go on the field. But then the game's theirs. You have to stand and watch, and that's the part that can torment you and has done to him.
Has to be such an empty, frustrating feeling.
Well, he's such a competitor, too. I mean, he's fiery. He likes to win, and he'd probably slide a helmet on himself if he could.
We can only imagine. Third down and less than a yard, Ottawa. And Dillon keeps. Flags fly. Dillon didn't get very much, but he probably got enough for the first down, unless the penalty's against Ottawa.
Offside, Calgary 95, first down.
Stampeders are called for offside. Lamont Jeffers, and that will give Ottawa the first down by a penalty if they didn't get it on the carry.
Well, stranger things have happened in the CFL. I'm sure the Calgary Stampeders realize, and they should remain optimistic if they can on the sidelines. A change of events, a big interception, a return like we saw Tyrone Jones do the other night against the BC Lions. A fumbled ball returned at 91 yards for a touchdown. Those things can happen and have happened this year.
That's the first penalty against Calgary in the second half. And it gives Ottawa first and 10 at the Stampeder 32-yard line. Minter trying the middle, slips off 1 or 2 Stampeders, and then is stopped by another 3 or 4 at the 29-yard line. We're late in the third quarter at Lansdowne Park. Ottawa leading 34-11. 2 minutes, 10 seconds remaining in the third quarter. in the stadium clock here at Lansdowne is not working because of a lightning strike, but I bet you the fans know what the score is. At least they know that their Ottawa Rough Riders are way ahead. These three young fellas do. Second down and 6, Ottawa at the Calgary 29. Dillon has Alphin open. Gerald Alphin, nice move at the 10, and he'll score. There's a flag on the play, though, and James Hood may be called for a clip. Now there are 4 flags.
Illegal block, Ottawa 80, after yards gained.
James Hood is called for an illegal block. The touchdown won't stand, but the gain will, and then they'll march off the penalty yardage.
Well, it's good to see receivers that don't catch the ball downfield trying to turn a pass into a touchdown, but that was unnecessary. He was well behind him, and just the push is the same as a clip.
So the gain gets them a first down, gets Ottawa the first down, and then the penalty moves the football back to the Calgary 13-yard line, where it will be Ottawa 1st and 10. Dillon for Mark Lewis, threw it behind him at the 5-yard line. Lewis had a step on the defenders, but Dillon underthrew the pass, and he knows it.
Well, they're trying to open up the middle. The middle looked open, but Greg Peterson, the safety, was sitting back right around the goalpost area. If Lewis had caught that ball, there would have been quite a collision.
What's happening here today, Neil, is great tonic for the Ottawa Rough Rider offensive team after being held to 1 point by BC 2 weeks ago. Not so good for the Calgary Stampeders. That's the first incomplete pass of the second half for Dillon, who is now 7 for 8 in the second half, and he'll put it up again for Alphin. No good. He was corked by Darcy Kopp just as he attempted to catch the football, and that will signal Dean Dorsey to enter play and try to add to the record that he set earlier of 22 consecutive field goals.
Once again, the Calgary defense has come up big, as they have so many times this year. As you said, they don't, even though they've been beaten a lot, their defense is second in the league against average yards against by the pass. So they can play the pass very tough.
This try by Dorsey will be from the 20-yard line with Ken Clark holding. No doubt about that one. That's 23 in a row for Dean Dorsey. And with the score, Ottawa 37 and Calgary 11. Let's pause 10 seconds for stations from coast to coast to identify themselves. You're watching the Canadian Football Network. 14:25, the time of Dean Dorsey's 3rd field goal of the game, his 23rd consecutive, as he adds to the record that he broke earlier in the game. Rick Johnson on first down completes a pass to Larry Willis.
We can't get it back all at once, and they do have some time left. They should stick to that game plan that took them on that long drive in the first quarter.
Going with the hurry-up offense, they face a 2nd and about 4. Johnson throws quickly, complete to Larry Willis, up at the 48.5-yard line of the Calgary Stampeders. As the Stamps face a 26-point deficit. This will be the final play of the 3rd quarter, barring a penalty. And now head referee Dr. Carey has signaled the end of the 3rd quarter, and the Ottawa Rough Riders are in command, leading by 26.
I'm happy. Great.
Bob Irving and Neil Lumsden at Lansdowne Park in Ottawa. Mike Klein of the Ottawa Rough Riders hurt. Neil?
Well, that could be something that's caused by the AstroTurf. Not turf toe, but something that instep. Those toes will be cold by the end of the game.
Calgary Stampeders are 1st and 10 at their 51. Johnson airing it out for Colbert. He was tackled on the play by Tommy Williams, and that did not escape the eyes of the officials, who will call pass interference on the Calgary Stampeders.
Forward pass interference, Ottawa 37, first down.
That is only the 2nd first down of the second half for the Calgary Stampeders. They got their first 2 plays ago. Rick Johnson from the Ottawa 21 throws complete to Emmanuel Tolbert, but it's a very short gain of a yard or 2. Well, it's been all Ottawa since early in the game here at Lansdowne Park as they lead the Calgary Stampeders 37-11. The Stampeders at least showing a little fight here as the 4th quarter opens.
Well, I don't think it's ever been a question that they want to come back. They've got the personnel that are desirous of winning, but sometimes it just doesn't go your way. And when you fall behind, it makes things awfully tough to stick to a game plan and have not everyone get down.
Johnson completed that pass to a big Ron Wheeler and got down to the 12-yard line of the Ottawa Rough Riders. Bob Vespasiani looks on. We asked Vespasiani if this is the biggest challenge of his coaching career, getting this turned around, and he wouldn't say that it was, but he wouldn't say that it wasn't either. First down, Petros on a draw. Tim Petros is in the end zone, and the Calgary Stampeders cut into that huge Ottawa lead. They reduce it from 37-11 to 37-17.
Well, the old saying, the dog might be down, but the fight isn't out of the dog, and they're showing it right here where they're moving the football. Petros runs a simple draw, makes a nice cut on Woodson right there, back straight upfield for the touchdown.
J.T. Hay will attempt to convert. Just exactly how old is that saying? About the dog?
I heard it from a coach, so you know it's got to be old.
J.T. Hay adds the convert, and Ottawa's lead is 37-18. Well, I haven't necessarily led a sheltered existence, but I've never heard that one before. And you just when you think you've heard all the saying, we hear a lot of them in our business. Tim Petros with the touchdown for Calgary.
We mentioned about the new Ottawa linebackers. Craig Schaefer's gone and Anthony Woodson moving to the inside. Patrick Wayne is on one side, Cornelius Dozier on the other, and the left side of the defense with Dozier and Kenny Ford don't outweigh you and I.
Well, they both outweigh me.
So you wonder, you think they might try to run at them a little bit more, try to overpower them, but I guess their quickness is a little bit tough to match. They're doing a good job tonight.
Well, you might be able to keep up with those guys, Mr. Lumsden, but I run the 40 in about 11 seconds. Here's the Calgary kickoff. Gerald Alphen out to the 38-yard line. Really, though, that's small. There are a lot of small linebackers in the Canadian Football League, but 205, well, that's unusual.
Well, usually the players will lie or put a weight under the hat when they get weighed or in their shorts to try to increase their weight, but he's proud of it, and he's playing awfully well tonight. The lack of weight hasn't bothered him, and they certainly haven't tried to control that area by running straight at them, so he certainly hasn't hurt them.
Todd Dillon should be proud of his work today. He's had an excellent afternoon. And he and the Ottawa Rough Riders have the ball at their 38. Cedric Minner has also had a good game. He has a gain of a couple of yards. Calgary offensive players on their bench.
Well, they should just be chomping at the bit for looking for a turnover, a chance to get back in the game, have good field position, and move the ball down and score again. They know they can do it. They just have to get everyone on the same page, thinking the same thing on every play.
Second down and 7 at the Ottawa 41-yard line. Dillon looking, finally gets it away. He had Alphen open, but he overthrew him. And the Ottawa Rough Riders will have to punt the ball away.
Good job by the secondary. The Stampeders, they took everything away from Dillon. He had nowhere to throw it. You have to give him credit, though. He didn't force the ball downfield, try to create a reception, waited long enough, threw back over where there wasn't too much of a chance. Have the ball picked off.
Let's see what Clark's kick coverage time is this time. The ball bounces over the head of the Calgary return man. Gary Allen picks it up at the 30, and he gets it up to the 36 with the bounce. They got that coverage way up to 7-8, which is outstanding. Ottawa leading by 19 points at Lansdowne Park. 5-1. The Ticats 3-3, and Ottawa can move to 3-3 and tie Hamilton in the East if they can hold on and win this game. Calgary, after an Ottawa punt, 1st and 10 at their 36. Rick Johnson gets the ball away at the last minute to Gary Allen, and he gets up to the 45 and close to a 1st down outside the Calgary 45-yard line.
What a great play by Johnson, checking downfield. 1st and 2nd receivers don't come open for him. Then he gets pressure, is able to spin away and dump it off to Gary Allen.
They'll measure for the 1st down. Gary Allen got very close to it, but not quite there. Cloudy day at Lansdowne Park in Ottawa, but the rain has stayed away. There hasn't been much sunshine in the lives of the Calgary Stampeders in the last month and a half. They try to fight off losing for the 7th straight time, and they have a ways to go. They're trailing 37-18. We're 3 minutes into the 4th quarter. Petros on 2nd and inches, big hole. Cornelius Dozier comes over to get him, but Petros is down to the Ottawa 47-yard line, and suddenly the Stampeders, last 2 possessions, have got their offense going again.
They certainly have, and in that situation, they don't put their short yardage team in there. Run regular offensive series and just hand the ball off.
Johnson will pass on 1st down, and Willis goes up for it, but so does Tommy Williams, and nobody gets it.
Well, Willis has to play a little bit of defense there when he turns and goes up for the football. He knows how close Williams is. And then they have to just make sure. Willis has to make sure it doesn't drop into Williams' hands. And Ottawa's not playing conservative football. They're bringing their linebackers. The rollout takes the pressure off Johnson. Gets out of that pocket. Doesn't have to look at all those linebackers and defensive linemen coming at him.
Johnson from the Ottawa 47. As time puts it up long, and it's intercepted. Rod Brown with an outstanding interception. Woodruff was open, but the pass was underthrown.
Well, they get the situation they want. Woodruff goes to the outside, releases downfield. He's got him beat. As soon as Johnson threw the football, you could see he threw his arms down. He knew he had underthrown the football.
Rod Brown with his 1st interception of the season. And the turnovers tell a sad tale for the Stampeders once again, as they grasp a little life and then have it leave. Cedric Minner on the 1st down run from the 17, and he did well to get back to the 17-yard line.
Ron Brown, one of the people that the Ottawa Rough Riders got out of their free agent camp in Dallas. They were pretty lucky. Craig Glick said they pulled 4 people out, the other being Tommy Williams, Rod Brown, Cornelius Dozier, and another one they have on their move list. So that's a pretty successful camp, I'd say.
2nd and 10. Dillon over the middle for Minner, but it's just beyond his reach. And the Calgary offense, led by Rick Johnson, headband and all, will get another shot. It's Larry Koharik, the quarterback, receiver, backfield coach for Calgary, talking with Rick Johnson.
Well, they'll try to equip him with the best plays possible to execute next time he goes on the field. Now's the time they're going to have to start to strike a little bit quicker.
3rd and 10, Ottawa from their 17. The coverage time on Clark's punt will get over 6 because of a big bounce. It's kicked by one of the Stampeder return men right into the hands of Ken Clark. And again, the Calgary Stampeders just can't get anything to work for them. Bob Vespasiani receiving an explanation from the officials after Gary Allen, the Calgary punt return man, inadvertently kicked a bouncing Ken Clark punt, and he kicked it right into the hands of Ken Clark. So Ottawa hangs onto the ball at their 34-yard line, and They run on first down, but instead of Calgary having the football in pretty good field position, Ottawa has the football back.
Well, I'm sure Vespasiani was asking, should that not have been no yards? But as soon as Clark kicked the ball, he knew it wasn't very good. Now he's closing in, figuring maybe if I get a good bounce, I can recover it. Little did he know it wasn't going to bounce back to him. It was kicked back to him.
10 minutes left, fourth quarter, 37-18 Ottawa. Bob Vespasiani, the Calgary coach, used 2 words to describe their plight as this pass is picked up. And what an interception by Darrell Toussaint. And he stopped at the 54-yard line of Calgary by James Hood. But the description that Vespasiani used, Neil, was self-destruct. He said we just keep self-destructing. And that Allen deal was, to me, a classic example.
Oh, it certainly was. Here we've got Darrell Toussaint man for man and almost stride for stride on Alphen. And he's running with his head turned, and he snapped his head around just in the right time when he saw Alphen put his arms out. It's tough on a defensive back. The only thing you can read are eyes and arms, and when those arms went out on Alphen, Toussaint turned around and caught the football.
Toussaint keeps the flame at least flickering for the Stampeders. Johnson passing on first down, has Wheeler down at the 40-yard line. Calvin Lovell in that size mismatch, hauling big Ron Wheeler down. A 16-yard gain for the Stampeders. And he'll go with the hurry-up offense. Johnson has time. Hits Larry Willis along the sidelines at the Ottawa 27-yard line. That's a gain of 13 and another Calgary first down.
You see Willis go down the field there. He's looking back, a little bit of a fake, and then he snaps out, makes his cut outside. And that look over the right shoulder is enough to set up the defensive back to maybe thinking that the ball's coming. He looks for the ball and he makes his cut and goes to the sideline. That's a good play.
9 minutes left, fourth quarter. Ottawa leading by 19. Calgary first and 10. Rick Johnson puts it up long for Wheeler at the 5. He has it. Lovell has him at the 2. But there's a penalty flag.
Forward pass interference, out on number 18, decline, first down.
Calvin Lovell maybe tried to get Ron Wheeler that time before he could get downfield on him. He struggled with Wheeler.
Well, he's got to do something because Ron Wheeler is a big man and a big target, and he goes downfield. And what makes him so successful at the tight end spot, he's got good quickness. He gets up into that secondary and makes some great catches. He's a tough man to cover.
First and goal, Stampeders, Ottawa 3-yard line. The toss, Gary Allen right side, and he's in for the touchdown. Just got there, the signal late from the officials, but they wanted to be sure that Allen had broken the goal line plane, and he had. And now a convert would put Calgary within 12 points of Ottawa with still 8+ minutes left.
Well, this will pump up the offense. He takes the pitch and goes out, then cuts off Petros's block. Petros gets enough of the defensive back to push him, and then Allen does the rest on his own.
6:39 the time of that scoring play, which means there's 8:21 left in the fourth quarter. JT Hay adds the convert, and it's now 37-25 for the Ottawa Rough Riders. When Dean Dorsey kicked his third field goal of the game at 14:25 of the third quarter and his 23rd consecutive, which of course is a CFL record, Ottawa led 37-11, but now it's 37-25, and 8 minutes still remain in the game. And there's an Ottawa fumble, and the Calgary Stampeders' Richie Hall has the football. How this game has turned around.
Well, you can't help but think that if a football team can get through this type of adversity, coaches and players alike, it'll make them better. And there's good reason to be excited on that sidelines. Good hustle on a kickoff return. Somebody's got to come down and break that wedge. And Stu Laird busts it up. And then a hit here by Hall. The ball pops loose.
Gerald Alphen fumbling and Richie Hall recovering. Matt Finley popped it loose, and Calgary is first and 10 at the Ottawa 35. Flag down as Johnson wants to throw. And it's caught down at the 18-yard line by Larry Willis, but there is a penalty flag. Looks like
Offside, Ottawa 64. Decline. First down.
Ron Engelson in the game for the Ottawa Rough Riders in place of Mike Klein was offside. It's declined by Calgary. They're 1st and 10 at the Ottawa 18-yard line. And the crowd at Lansdowne, not to mention the Ottawa players and coaches, getting just a little bit edgy right now. Emmanuel Colbert catches that little toss by Johnson down at the Ottawa 6-yard line.
Rick Johnson calls an audible at the line of scrimmage. He sees what the defense is going to do. They've got almost everyone on the field up in the line of scrimmage. Good communication between Tolbert and Johnson.
Bob Poley, the Calgary veteran center, shaken up. He already has a broken left wrist. Following today's game, we'll be selecting the Canada Lease MVP. Canada Lease, a public company providing leadership in the world of high technology and capital equipment leasing. Canada Lease makes your money work for you. And we'll have a Canada Lease MVP when this one is over.
See Mark Coughlin, who will go in at center to replace Poley. John, no, yeah, that's right, Mark. His brother John coaches in Edmonton. I always get them mixed up, though. John's a little bit shorter, mind you, but he played very well when he played in at center.
We may have
Poley got hurt.
I think this is John Coughlin.
I'll straighten that family up sometime.
We know it's one of the Coughlin boys, John Coughlin, as Bob Poley is injured and will be helped off the field. The Calgary Stampeders, now if they can get in here from the 6, will get within 6 points. You know, and you try to come up with something profound to say in situations like this. I don't want to say it's not over till it's over, so I'm not. But there's no way in the world when Ottawa's ahead by 26 and Calgary's missing tackles, Neil, and they can't make a first down that you expect this kind of thing to happen. But here they are knocking on the door. 7.5 minutes left. Rick Johnson blocks it in the end zone for Tolbert, and he can't get to it.
The Stamps are trying to execute a little bit of a pick play down there. They ran Tolbert to the inside, then kick him back out, and can run to it.
Well, they'll get a second down crack, 2nd and goal from the 6. Woodruff wide right. Willis and Tolbert split left. Allen and McVeigh are the setbacks. Johnson fakes. He's going to run with it. Rick Johnson. And does he get in? Yes. They say he got the ball across the goal line just as he was thrown out of bounds. And now it's 37-31 for the Ottawa Rough Riders.
Well, we said earlier, anything can happen, and everything has happened. Rick Johnson does a good job of a play-action fake here and slides the ball on his hip. And then he goes out to the outside. Everyone takes the fake. Try to move up and make the hit by Dozer, and Johnson just gets that ball over the goal line.
Now, when he touched the ground with the ball, it was out of bounds, but in the air, the ball obviously had broken the goal line plane, and that's all it has to do. The touchdown signaled, Hay with the convert, and we have a 37-32 football game. You're feeling exhilaration if you're a Calgary Stampeder. If you're an Ottawa Rough Rider, you're starting to feel, well, you can imagine. Here's the touchdown with Vespasiani looking on.
He's thinking down the road. Now what am I going to have to do? We've made that touchdown. A calm, cool Coach Vespasiani. Do we try the short kickoff, or do we kick it deep and rely on our defense? Good coaches are always thinking ahead.
8:12 was the time of that touchdown by Johnson, meaning 6:48 left in the game. We were wondering a few minutes ago what must be going through Vespasiani's mind as his team trailed Neil by 26 points. I wonder what Fred Glick is thinking.
Well, Fred Glick said before the game he knew, or he thought they'd score a lot of points on offense, but it comes back to that killer instinct. When you get somebody down, let's put them away.
Ottawa 37, Calgary 32. And 6:48. Exactly.
The running plays have been like a little trap inside.
Bob Vespasiani getting the score confirmed and the time remaining in the game confirmed as J.T. Hay kicks the ball off. Gerald Alpin fumbled the last return, and he's hanging on to this one as he's down at the 37-yard line. Ron Hopkins leading the Calgary tacklers downfield.
But the last thing they need is a silly turnover. Alpin's going to catch the ball and secure it. As soon as he gets in some traffic, he'll put that other hand over the top and take a hit. It doesn't matter if I don't break this one as long as I stand up with the ball after the play's over.
We'll see if Todd Dillon and the Ottawa offensive team can reassert themselves. They've had quite a day, but all the good work they've done is being threatened. Dillon on first down completes it to Erdman, pardon me, at the 40, and he's up near the 45-yard line. He'll have a gain of 8 yards.
Just as Todd Dillon threw the ball, he got tripped just from behind. Would they call that a pressure? But Erdman doesn't go out of bounds. Heads up plays, running towards the sidelines, but he gets back upfield. Here's you got to pick out that receiver. He pulls that ball down twice. He's going to be very careful of where and who he throws that ball to.
Second down and 2 yards to go for the Ottawa Rough Riders at their 44.5-yard line. Todd Dillon having an outstanding game. Handing off to Cedric Minner here, nearly lost the football as he tried to dive across the 45 and get the first down. I don't think he got the first down. He'll be about a yard short of it. Now Fred Glick on 3rd and 1 has a decision to make. 5.5 minutes left in the 4th quarter. The Calgary Stampeders gambled on a 3rd and 2 early in the 3rd quarter when they were down by 13 points. Neil, and we wondered about that, and now facing a 3rd and, well, maybe just a wee bit more than a yard. Fred Glick isn't taking any chances. He's sending out his punting team.
Well, that's the first time today that Calgary stopped that short yardage offense, and I think it's probably a smart move that they're going to kick the ball away.
Let's see what sort of coverage they got. I think Calgary jumped offside. Ken Clark's punt will bounce at the 35-yard line and back upfield. So there's a lot of coverage time on this one with the bounce at 9.2. Let's see who this penalty is against. Calgary will either have the ball on that poor punt by Clark, or Ottawa will get a first down and retain it, depending on which way the call goes.
Well, a few of the Stampeders along that line said the center moved the ball before he snapped it. And if that's the case, they can jump.
Offside, Calgary, no yards, Ottawa.
Offside against the Calgary Stampeders and no yards against the Ottawa Rough Riders. One is a 5-yard penalty and one is a 10-yard penalty. And Jacques DeCarry is going to confer with his officials. Now he's going to confer with Ken Clark and explain to him what options he has. As the crowd looks on, very concerned here at Lansdowne Park, as the Ottawa Rough Riders led 37-11 at one stage and now are clinging to a 37-32 advantage.
Ottawa just wants to make sure they're not going to give up an opportunity to get a first down because of the penalty.
the Ottawa Rough Riders.
Well, Ken Clark is still on the field and about 14 yards back from the center, so you'd have to assume that they're going to be punting the football again.
The carry explaining it to Jim Reed. Listen to them boo here at Lansdowne. So Clark will get a chance to improve on what was a rather poor punt. And he hits a beauty. Gary Allen at the 23-yard line. Is across the 30 and out to the 33-yard line. Good hang time and good coverage time for the Ottawa Rough Riders.
Well, that's got to be a tough job with the clock down. It has to be done by hand, and everything has to be put on paper so there are no mistakes. And if anyone wants to refer back to what had happened, they have to have it logged.
4 minutes and 53 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Ottawa leading Calgary 37-32. Stampeders with a football back, first and 10 at their 33-yard line. Johnson throwing for Willis, but Willis was heading downfield, and Johnson threw it in the area where you'd be looking for the 8 or 10-yard out.
Well, there's either a break in the pattern or a break in Johnson knowing what the receiver's going to do. It's tough to know whether when the receiver goes downfield, he's to make that call individually and run he's got a choice of two different patterns. They're just not on the same wavelength at that point.
Second and 10, Stamps at their 32-yard line, 32 and a half. Johnson. Bourgeau coming, and he gets him. Michel Bourgeau sacks Johnson back at the 24. Bourgeau, who made the sack, is injured on the play.
Bourgeau had been playing nose tackle, but with the injury decline, he goes to end, and he's one-on-one with Rob Smith. He just makes a nice move, does an old spinorama, takes the inside away, and dives and gets himself a sack. And it almost seems like that late hit, or the Woodson coming in late, might have hit him in the ribs.
Ottawa has 3 quarterback sacks today, all in the second half. 4 minutes, 9 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. 37-32 Ottawa.
Linebacker, look, I'm running out here. Look at that guy. That then was the same deal. He had him on the wheel.
And there's a lot of chatter at the Calgary bench. The Stampeders have battled their way back from a 37-11 deficit. A day in which Dean Dorsey has broken the record for consecutive field goals. And Ottawa will be on CFN. Again, next Sunday they'll be in Saskatchewan. And Friday, Winnipeg at Hamilton. That one will be interesting.
Certainly will, especially if the Tiger Cats are healthy. Been plagued with injury problems all year. Al Bruno's been holding the team together well, and Winnipeg coming off a big win last night against the BC Lions at Winnipeg.
Michel Bourgeau remains on the field as the Ottawa cheerleaders entertain the fans at Lansdowne Park during the delay. They're not really into it right there. I think we got the end of their routine. Bob Vespasiani is back into this game. Not that he was ever really out of it, but he had to feel rather despondent when his team was down 37-11.
Get a look at the coaches under Bob Vespasiani. A couple of old pros in there. Wally Bono, who was a linebacker for many years with Montreal, working with the defensive line. Dan Daniels, who coached in Edmonton for a number of years through the years of the Grey Cup wins.
And Kuharek is the one again who came down from the spotter's box where he usually is, talking on the headphones to the sidelines today in an effort to improve communication. Fred Glick Probably has had some thoughts in these last few minutes that we wouldn't want to communicate to anybody. The people who work with him.
Well, it's good to see Bourgeot up and walking off, but it's going to be a concern. Not only the injury, but now who do they put on the defensive line?
4 minutes, 12 seconds left. I think I told you 4:09 a few seconds ago. We are not counting backwards. I was wrong. Here's Calgary's third down punt. Glenn Harper to Mark Lewis at the 35. And he's up to the 45 to the 46-yard line. Mark Lewis. So Ottawa with that 5-point lead. It'll send their offensive unit out. Pretty good position. Bourgeot looks to be in difficulty.
He's holding that left arm almost like it could be a shoulder problem. And you see the trainers and doctor try to get up underneath the pads. They're doing a job of feeling around inside, see if something's out of joint or if something's been pulled.
First down and 10, the Ottawa Rough Riders at their 45.5. Todd Dillon for Alphen, and the pass thrown behind him. It may have been tipped by linebacker Lamont Jeffers. It was incomplete.
Lots of play where Dillon looks for someone to get inside the linebacker, and Jeffers dropped back quickly when the ball was snapped and almost got his hands on it.
3 minutes, 46 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Lewis wide left, Hood to the right. Bourgeot attended to at the Ottawa bench, and the Ottawa offense 2nd and 10 from the Rider 45. Dillon throws for Alphen, complete. First down Ottawa, 10.5-yard gain, and Dillon goes over the 300-yard mark in passing for the day.
Gerald Alphen, quite a story. His dad's going to become famous soon. His father's a captain of the police department in St. Louis. They're going to make a TV movie about him. And Lou Gossett could be the man who plays Charles Alphen, his dad.
First and 10 Riders, Calgary 53.5. Dillon swings it out to Mitter, who looked like he tried to bounce it, although I'm sure he didn't. About 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Ottawa hanging on by 5. 3 minutes, 9 61/100ths of a second left in the game. In the fourth quarter, pardon me, at Lansdowne Park in Ottawa. Ottawa 37, Calgary 32. Ottawa led 37-11. Late in the third quarter as Todd Dillon keeps the ball on second down, but there are flags on the play.
Offside, defense, second over.
Calgary Stampeders offside, so it'll be second down over for the Ottawa Rough Riders. 2nd and 5.
Marv Alamang on the ball and snaps it as soon as someone moves. That's a heads-up play. I'm sure the Stampeders are saying somebody's moving along that offensive line to draw us, but they just got to hang on a little bit longer.
2nd and 5, Ottawa, Calgary 48. Dillon, big pressure, down he goes at center field. Finley was in there, Sandy Armstrong, and 2 or 3 other Calgary Stampeders to get the defensive play that they needed to get the football back with 2 minutes and 56 seconds remaining.
Dillon looks at a full blitz, including Daryl Toussaint, the halfback, coming from the outside. Trying to confuse that offense, make them miss a man, and one man will come free.
You know, Neil, you must cast a magic spell on these games, because literally every game you and I have done this season has ended like this, in suspense. Toussaint nearly blocked Clark's punt, which will bounce and enhance the coverage time. Clark's coming after it. Flags fly at the 35 of the Ottawa, or the Calgary Stampeders, pardon me. Stampeders have the football as Ken Clark headed downfield, tried to recover a poor punt.
Stay there! Stay there!
To make great plays, you need tremendous effort, and this by Toussaint is laying out for the ball. It's not much fun landing on the turf like that, but he has a designated area to try to block the ball.
No flag on the play. Kicker number 13 was in there. First down.
Jacques DeCarry ruling that the no yards flag is wiped up because it was Ken Clark. Clark has hit a couple of good punts today, Neil, but he's not kicking the ball the way Ken Clark normally does.
No, I'm sure he would be the first to admit that he's not catching the ball well. It's coming off his foot, not even close to a spiral, more like a wobble.
2:41 remaining in the fourth quarter. Stampeders first and 10 at their 35 and down by 5 points. Rick Johnson has gone all the way at quarterback. He throws for Willis, and it's picked off at the 48-yard line. Tommy Williams.
Tommy Williams has been beaten a few times tonight by this outrun by Willis, and this time he's on him like glue. Doesn't bite on any fake and comes up. The ball's thrown high instead of to the outside where Willis could have caught it and gone out of bounds. Williams comes up with the ball.
The Ottawa Rough Riders take over at the Calgary 48. 2:35 to go. Quick pass to Reed to the 45. He's grabbed right there. He'll have a gain of 3 yards. Todd Dillon looking for a couple of first downs now without getting the ball out of bounds to get in scoring range and run some time off. Vespasiani.
Well, they'll also be instructed to stay in bounds. If you're close to the sidelines after you catch the football, don't step out of bounds. Let's keep that clock running.
Second down and 7, Ottawa. Calgary 45-yard line. Dillon to throw over the middle, and Alphin has it at the 36-yard line of the Ottawa, the Calgary Stampeders, pardon me. Gerald Alphin had a man all over him, but was still able to catch the ball.
Well, Dillon does a nice job of reading the defense here, and he leads him perfectly. He has to throw past the linebacker right up a tunnel. Alphin makes a good job of staying between the quarterback and the defensive back.
Nice throw by Dillon, too. He didn't have much room for error there.
And he hasn't thrown the ball a lot in the fourth quarter. He's looking sharp.
First and 10, Ottawa, Calgary 36. 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. The clock running. Dillon going long. He has a man wide open. Mark Lewis is out of bounds at the Calgary 7-yard line.
That's a good job by Dillon, knowing where your receivers are going to be. He looks right all the way. The defense is moving, then he just looks left, knows Lewis is out there, and throws it to the sidelines.
They mark him out at the 7. It looked like Lewis actually stepped out back up at the 9. 1:42 the time left. First and goal, Ottawa. Calgary 7. Dillon throws into the end zone for Lewis, and he makes the catch, but he was out of touch when he caught the ball, so it's an incomplete pass.
Occasionally what quarterbacks will do is, instead of running that receiver downfield like that and trying to throw it over his shoulder, the receiver will run downfield and then come back to it. This time that ball's just inches away from being a touchdown.
Dillon, for a moment, thought he had it. Well, he did have the ball in there, but the receiver was a little bit too far to stay in bounds. Second and goal. Here's a draw play. Cedric Minter, and he has very little room. The Stampeders hold him up for no gain, maybe a yard. Bob Vespasiani wants a timeout. As Dean Dorsey in the Ottawa field goal team have come out of the Lansdowne Park artificial turf. Vespasiani, I would guess, wanting to stop the clock, but he didn't get the signal in. Either that or he decided not to take it. And Dean Dorsey will attempt to make it 4 for 4 on the day and expand on the Don Sweet record that he broke earlier for consecutive field goals, which was 21. This would be the 24th in a row for Dorsey, and this one is from 14 yards. Ken Clark holding. Just over a minute to go in the fourth quarter. Ottawa leading by 5, and they have taken the 5-yard penalty, the delay of game time count violation penalty.
Ottawa
And they did that intentionally to run the clock down to 1:09 remaining in the fourth quarter.
It's been tough on the quarterbacks today, not only not having a scoreboard, but the countdown clocks are out also because of that problem on the weekend with power. So I'm wondering if most of them talk to the rest before the game and say, look, give me some help. I don't know when you're starting your 20-second clocks. Give me an indication when I'm down to 5 seconds, because that's tough if you call audibles.
Now we're informed that the official time remaining is 1 minute 20 seconds. Clark to hold from the 14, and Dorsey missed it. Dean Dorsey has his streak in as he missed from the 14-yard line.
Well, as accurate and consistent as he's been, that left foot could have been a problem. It wasn't placed properly. It seemed like it was a little bit too far ahead, which would make the contact of the ball on the foot not exact, and he would hook it to the left, and he knew as soon as he hit it, the ball wasn't kicked properly.
Well, it's a single point, and it gives Ottawa a 38-32 lead, but that could prove to be a very costly missed field goal. 1:16 is the time left in the fourth quarter. I don't think Dorsey can quite believe that he could miss from that range, and you would understand why he'd feel that way. Rick Johnson has decided he's going to run with this football himself, and he's tripped up at the 38-yard line by Kenny Ford. He'll have a gain of 3, and he'll have to get his offense going again quickly because the clock will start as soon as time is whistled in. Clock running. Johnson, quarterback draw, and he's out to the 48. He will have the Calgary first down. That looked, Neil, like plain and simply a quarterback draw.
It certainly did. He's dropping back with looks like the intention of throwing the ball downfield, but the way that defensive line or the offensive line is opening up the defensive line, he's taking off downfield.
Clock is running. It's down to 57, 56, and clicking. Here's Johnson again on a quarterback draw, and he'll gain a yard. Calgary using up a lot of time with those plays.
The only thing I can think he might be trying to do is when he pulls the ball down and runs, often defensive backs or a linebacker will leave the receiver. Maybe the next time he tries it, he'll pull up and throw the ball downfield.
Johnson throwing, has Willis open at the Ottawa 45. He's wrestled out of bounds by Tommy Williams, and that will stop the clock and give Calgary a first down. 45 seconds left. What a game this has turned out to be.
Ottawa 76, first down.
Oh, and Ottawa has taken an unnecessary roughness penalty. On top of it, Lloyd Lewis. And they'll march the football down to the Ottawa 30-yard line with 45 seconds left.
Well, that Calgary offensive line, after being attacked in the second and third quarters by especially Lloyd Lewis, has shored things up and are giving good protection to Johnson.
I'll tell you what, if Calgary can get it all the way in and win this game, Neil, it'll be like winning the Grey Cup for them. Trying to stop that losing streak and being 26 points down in this game. Johnson going long for Willis. And it comes down. The ball comes down out of bounds. Willis very well covered. 39 seconds in 67/100ths. And those might come into play.
Well, Calgary will need everything they can possibly get right now.
Jacques Decarry is going to check with the man who's holding that stopwatch just to be sure. Rick Johnson, interceptions trouble him again, but he has looked more like the Rick Johnson of old than ever. And he's looking at a 2nd and 10 at the Ottawa 30 right now. Calgary 6 points down. Johnson throws for Woodruff, no good. And flags come down at the Ottawa 20-yard line. There was all sorts of contact. Kyle Hall over there with Woodruff. Rod Brown as well in the area.
Forward pass interference, Ottawa number 27, first down.
Rod Brown is the man who was on Woodruff, and he's called for pass interference. The Ottawa Rough Riders and their fans don't particularly enjoy that call.
Well, the defensive backs of the Riders are going to try to snug up on the receivers, so Johnson has no one to throw too early. He's going to hang in there and takes a good shot from Lewis. Lewis gets through to him.
35 seconds left. 1st and 10, Calgary. Johnson lofts it up in the air, and it's no good in the end zone, and we get another flag. Interference will be called, and that's that old screening play by the cornerback who never turned around to play the ball, or was it the linebacker Dozier? He just waved his arms. And he'll put the ball on the 1-yard line of the Ottawa Rough Riders.
Forward passing interference, Ottawa, number 22, 1st down.
The outside linebacker Dozier is responsible for the running back. If he goes out, you've got to cover him, and what he did is exactly what you said. He jumps up and screens.
Does that tell a story? Calgary trailing by 6. 1st and goal. Ottawa 1-yard line. Handoff. Touchdown, Stampeders. I believe it was Tim Petros with the football. And Calgary has tied the game. And a J.T. Hay convert separates them from a 1-point lead with 27 seconds remaining.
Boy, they just got to control that offensive line, and that's what they do. Petros sniffs out a little area, and he puts his shoulder pads and helmet down and gets over that line. And you don't think he's happy?
Well, you know what kind of a year it's been for Rick Johnson. He hasn't had many moments to celebrate. He took one there. J.T. Hay makes the convert good. So with 27 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter, Calgary has gone in front 39-38 after trailing 37-11 at the end of the 3rd quarter.
Well, when you've got somebody down, you'd like to put him away, and I'm sure Fred Glick is saying exactly that to himself. We should have had these guys run out of the park. But all the credit in the world goes to the Calgary Stampeders and Bob Vespasiani. There were times when he didn't have reason to look very happy, but he kept things control on the sidelines, kept his players into it, and he and his coaching staff deserve a lot of credit for that.
Fred Glick always looks pretty calm, and he did just there. Vespasiani, and there's Glick. Oh, he's going to have a hard time sorting this out in his mind. Probably is right now. Vespasiani, 27 seconds away from breaking a 6-game losing skid for his club. The spirit of celebration that existed at Lansdowne Park a little bit earlier this afternoon has evaporated as J.T. Hay kicks off. Minter out to the 37-yard line. Scoreboard clock out here at Lansdowne. 22 seconds left in the 4th quarter. Ottawa will have time for at least a couple of offensive plays. And if they can move it about 30 yards downfield, they'll give Dean Dorsey at least a chance.
When you have receivers like Lewis and Hood, Gerald Alphin, the way they've been catching the football today, there's certainly a good chance that they can get downfield.
Dillon throwing long all alone. At the 40-yard line is Jerome Erdman. 16 seconds left. Dillon is going to hurry them up. They will not huddle. Yeah, Jim Reed now has calmed things down and said, let's huddle. That play went out of bounds. The clock won't start. A 34-yard gain.
Well, the Stampeders have got their nickel defense, which means 6 defensive backs. Takes a little more thought and preparation, but oftentimes with that thought, somebody can make a mistake.
It's at the 40-yard line of Calgary. The handoff to Minter. And he's stopped by Goldsmith after a gain of 2 or 3. 39-38 Stampeders. Dean Dorsey's had a record-breaking afternoon. He kicked 3 field goals in a row with 11 seconds left to break Don Sweet's record. He extended his consecutive streak. Dorsey did to 23 and then missed a 14-yarder just a couple of minutes ago that could have put Ottawa ahead by 8 points. And it looks like Dorsey will get a chance to win the game.
Well, there's a slight breeze. It's picked up as the game has gone on. I don't think it'll affect the kick unless he doesn't get all of his foot into it. And if he doesn't do that, it means the ball will spin a little bit too much. It won't have the power to move through the air.
11 seconds to go. The Calgary Stampeders
the Stamps put their kick-out situation in there.
Now Dorsey has left the field. The Ottawa offense is back out there. Calgary has 3 men in the end zone, and play is whistled down as they hand off to Cedric Minter, and we have mass confusion as Ottawa tried to catch Calgary with 3 kick return men in the end zone by sending Dorsey, the quarterback, back, or pardon me, Dillon, the quarterback, back on the field and taking Dorsey off and running the play and getting a little closer, but the play was whistled dead. Let's listen to Jacques DeCarry.
Timeout. Calgary before the snap of the ball. It'll be second down.
Well, you can bet the Stampeders are happy that the Stampeders are now that allowed that anybody can call a timeout on the field. It used to be 1 or 2 people. Now anybody can do it, and somebody made a great move and a timely one.
That was an alert play by the Stampeders to see that bit of deception that was tried by Ottawa and call the timeout with 3 return men in the end zone. They'll move the clock back to 11 seconds as 3 were run off on that run by Cedric Minter. So they move it back to 11. And we will see Dean Dorsey.
Now the Stampeders have 3 people in the end zone. Darcy Kopp, Harper, the punter, and J.T. Hay, and they're there to kick the ball back out if the field goal misses.
A 45-yard try by Dean Dorsey with Ottawa down by 1 point. Very gentle breeze, and it's in Dorsey's face. He has the distance, but he's wide left. And Glenn Harper is going to run it out after faking to kick it out. And there is 1 second left on the clock. So the Calgary Stampeders are going to win. And what a bittersweet day for Dean Dorsey. Breaks the record, then misses a short field goal and a 45-yarder. And he must be totally despondent.
Right now, I'm sure Dorsey could care less about that record. He had a chance to win the football game twice, and he wasn't able to. Heads up play by Harper, though. He catches the ball about 10 yards deep, and his first reaction is, I should kick the ball back out. The coverage wasn't that great, so he gets the ball out. Calgary's ball. As soon as he kicked it, that head goes back, and he's just hoping something's going to direct it between those posts. He has to be prepared, though, even though it is wide, that if Harper had kicked it back out, to return the ball back in if he had caught it. So he has to stay alert.
So with 1 second left in the game, the Calgary Stampeders are going to author one of the more stirring comebacks in recent CFL history. Is that overly dramatic? I don't think so. They were down by 26 points at the end of the 3rd quarter. They've lost 6 games in a row, and they rally to beat the Ottawa Rough Riders by 39-38.
They had to work hard for it, and it took a while before it came, but they got the victory they've been working for. It's been tough on the coaching staff and the players, but this is great. The kick's up, and again, it looks like it has an opportunity to go through, but again, he's left as he was the last time he kicked a field goal. Harper kind of set to punt the football, and then says, nope, I can get it out. It'll be our ball.
So it looked like a great day of celebration for Dean Dorsey and the Ottawa Rough Riders. Turns into one of very bitter disappointment.